Chapter 159. Using Force. When Lin Hanbin found out that Yi Zichen was that genius doctor, he was still shocked despite his shrewdness. There was no helping it. This genius doctor was truly too young. Mr. Yi, Director Lin. Yi Zichen nodded with a smile. Is Mr. Yi a Western doctor? To be able to become the master that Elder Zheng spoke of at such a young age, he could only be a Western doctor. Hanbin, Lil Yi is a proper Chinese doctor. Chinese doctor? Lin Hanbin was stunned once again and was unable to even adjust his expression properly. Which of the people that could become the leading figures in the field of Chinese medicine weren't elders over 50 years old? Chinese medicine wasn't like other things. How could one achieve great things at a young age just by relying on talent? It required time and effort to become a master. So young. Even if he had talent and studied Chinese medicine since a young age, Mr. Yi is a Chinese doctor? Although Lin Hanbin knew that it was very impolite of him to ask like that, he still couldn't help but ask. Don't underestimate Lil Yi. His knowledge of Chinese medicine is even stronger than those old guys in the capital. You should have heard of the Su family's Su Qian situation, right? Lil Yi saved him. What? Lin Hanbin exclaimed. The news of Su Qian coming back from the dead had spread far and wide in the capital. Who knew how many leading figures in the medical world wanted to meet the master that could bring the dead back to life? Lin Hanbin also wanted to use his connections to obtain information about that master in order to save his family's old man. He didn't expect. Mr. Yi, sorry for the offense just now. Lin Hanbin quickly bowed and apologized. Lin, who stood on the side, turned even paler, while his body also started to tremble slightly. He offended someone he shouldn't have. Yi Zichen shook his head with a smile, then walked past Lin Hanbin and arrived beside Lin. Young Master Lin. Young Master Yi. Lin buried his head in his neck and didn't dare to meet Yi Zichen's gaze. Lin Hanbin was stunned. He didn't think that Yi Zichen would ignore him and walk beside his son. From their conversation, it seemed like they knew each other. Young Master Yi knows my son? Not really. Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled playfully. Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled playfully. I, Yi Zichen, am just a small fry. The Lin family's relationship is beyond my reach. Even an idiot could tell that the relationship between Yi Zichen and Lin was not good. Mr. Yi, Mr. Lin, you don't have to say any more. Yi Zichen raised his hand to stop Lin Hanbin's words. Forgive me for not being able to treat old man Lin. With that, he walked out with Third Fatty Jean and the Great Sage. Third Fatty Jean even spat in Lin's direction. What a snob. Mr. Yi, please wait. Lin Hanbin quickly chased after him and said, If my son has offended Mr. Yi in any way, I will apologize to you on his behalf. However, our family's old man still has to rely on Mr. Yi. Impossible. Yi Zichen refused without hesitation. Let's find someone else. Mr. Yi. Lin Hanbin's eyes suddenly darkened. He clapped his hands forcefully, and a dozen bodyguards dressed in black rushed over from the surroundings of the manor. Please treat our family's old man. Yi Zichen smiled mockingly as he looked at the bodyguards surrounding him. Director Lin, what is the meaning of this? As soon as he finished speaking, he glanced at the embarrassed Zheng Cheng next to him. Grandpa, this is the attitude of your friend's children. He had already angered her from the very start, but instead of trying to salvage the situation, he wanted to use force. Zheng Cheng's face was filled with embarrassment. Lin Hanbin took a step forward and said, This has nothing to do with Elder Zheng. This is all my personal wish. Mr. Yi, I have no other choice. Please take a look at my family's old man. I will give you a satisfactory answer after this. I'm very dissatisfied now. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and glanced at the bodyguards surrounding them. Let's go. Stop them. Lin Hanbin roared. Since the situation had already developed to this state, he had to keep Yi Zichen here, otherwise their old man would truly be beyond saving. Ridiculous. Yi Zichen shook his head and glanced at the Great Sage. Great Sage, since you've drunk so much of my waha, it's time for you to show off your skills. I, old son, have been itching for a long time. Go easy on him, don't kill him. I, old son, know what I'm doing. Before he finished speaking, Sun Dashung, who was wearing a black vest, stepped forward and grinned at the group of bodyguards. In the blink of an eye, several afterimages appeared around the great sage's body, as if they were his clones. Dong, dong, dong. A uniform sound rang out. When the afterimages merged into one, the bodyguards who blocked them were also sent flying like cannonballs. Too weak, too weak. Lin Hanbin's entire face also turned green. These bodyguards were all retired soldiers that he had brought from the capital. All of them were experts that had experienced life and death. Come, Lin Hanbin shouted. Not long later, another group of men in black appeared in front of Yi Zichen and company. Bang, bang, bang. Just like before, the great sage had beaten them to the ground without any effort at all. Come, Director Lin, stop calling people. Yi Zichen turned around and smiled. At that moment, Yi Zichen turned his head and smiled. Even if you call all of your family's bodyguards over, it would still be useless. Numbers are useless in the face of absolute strength. Lin Hanbin lowered his head helplessly. Even if he didn't want to admit it, he had to. His bodyguards were no match for the fighter beside Yi Zichen. The great sage chuckled, then looked around with his tiger-like eyes, as if he was waiting for the next batch of fighters to attack. Yi Zichen walked over and patted his shoulder. Let's go. Let's go. There's no one left. The great sage frowned in disappointment. Too weak, too weak. These people can't even compare to the soldiers of Erlangshen's manor. Yi Zichen, who walked forward, nearly tripped over. Isn't that obvious? No matter what, the soldiers of Erlangshen's manor were heavenly soldiers. They were deities. How could mortals compare to them? Third Fatty Jean followed Yi Zichen out of the manor. When he walked in front of the bodyguards, he even stepped on them a few times. F***CK, you dare to bully my boss. If I, Lord Fatty, was at my peak. TSK. Third Fatty Jean spat towards Lin Hanbin and company, then followed Yi Zichen out of the manor. Mr. Yi. Mr. Yi. Yi Zichen and company left the manor without looking back. Meanwhile, Lin Hanbin's body trembled, then he fell to the ground. Hanbin. Old Zheng hurriedly helped him up. Lin Hanbin grabbed Zheng Cheng's sleeves tightly and said, Elder Zheng, please help me put in a good word in front of Mr. Yi. Difficult. Elder Zheng shook his head and smiled bitterly. What you did just now could be said to be the stupidest thing you've ever done. I understand Xiao Ye's character. Forgive me for being powerless. Bang. Chapter 160. Daisies bloomed forever for Yi Zichen stood in a duplex. He had called Su Yun a few hours ago and asked him to help him find a building near the school. He didn't expect Su Yun to find it so quickly. You're pretty fast. Do you think that this little lord will be slow? Su Yun smiled proudly. This building is about 5 minutes away from our school. It's a duplex, it's big enough, the lighting is pretty good, and it's well decorated. But what do you want this building for? Who are you going to live with? With that, Su Yun's expression turned serious. He knew that his little sister was dating Yi Zichen. You can't be thinking of hiding a mistress, right? Su Yun stood up from the sofa and stared straight at Yi Zichen. If you really dare to do that, then don't blame me for disregarding our brotherhood. Hide your sister, Yi Zichen cursed. Hi, my sister, Su Yun exclaimed, then grabbed Yi Zichen's collar. You want to live with my little sister so early? Sure, but be nice to her. Live with your sister. Are you not going to live with my sister? Then who do you want to live with? Su Yun grabbed him once again. Yi Zichen shook his hand off. F***CK. I can't explain it to you. I'm not living with Su Yin, nor am I living with other girls. F***CK. Why did you buy this building? And why are you in such a hurry? Those eyes of yours are for you to vent your anger on. Didn't you see those two heroes? Yi Zichen indicated towards Third Fatty Jean and the great sage in annoyance. He felt like it was his turn. Yi Zichen pouted towards Third Fatty Jean and the great sage in annoyance. He felt like it was his turn. Third Fatty Jean turned around and waved his hand, revealing his 8 teeth. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Su Yun didn't think that Yi Zichen was going to live with this fatty and the Hulk. All of a sudden, his gaze changed. Then he hugged his arms and took 2 steps back. Yi, I didn't think that you were like this, Yi Zichen. What about me? Fatty, Hulk, you're really high class. Screw off. Lousy is a straight man. Sui rolled his eyes and laughed heartily. He had been Yi Zichen's roommate in university for 2 years. If Yi Zichen really was gay, then Yi Zichen, as his roommate, would have been able to tell a long time ago. He was just joking. Although he didn't know why Yi Zichen wanted to buy this building for the two brothers, it wasn't something he should care about. He reached out his right hand and raised his eyebrows at Yi Zichen. What? Pay up, why? Su Yun frowned. This building is 43 million. I'll round it off for you. Just give me 4 million. You want money? Why don't I want money? My money doesn't grow on trees. It's good enough that I didn't ask you for money when I opened the supermarket for you. Very good. This was the Su Yun he knew. Even $1 could be settled between brothers, let alone such a huge sum of money. I'll call you back later. All right, I'll be leaving then. I wish you and your companions a good time. With an ambiguous and playful smile, Su Yun left the room. Yi Zichen shook his head with a smile and walked to the sofa in the living room. Third Fatty Jean quickly stood up and replied nervously. Boss, I'm definitely a fan of the opposite sex, but Third Fatty Jean bit his lips as if he was struggling in his heart. If boss truly needs it, then I can offer my most tender daisy. Yi Zichen, who was scrolling through his moments on the sofa, spat out the water he just drank on a Third Fatty Jean's legs. Feeling the wetness between his legs, Third Fatty Jean gulped down his saliva. Boss, could it be that you like wet seduction? F*CK off. F*CK off. F*CK off. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and glanced at him after he spat the fatty away. His intelligence is truly worrying. Boss, my daisy will forever bloom for you. Third Fatty Jean continued to shout about offering his daisy before Yi Zichen left. Yi Zichen's expression darkened. The great sage on the side looked up in confusion. Daisy, is it delicious? Slap. Why'd I end up with these two living treasures? It seems like I have a long way to go in the future. Yi Zichen let out a soft sigh, then laid down on the sofa and scrolled through his moments once again. It had clearly become something that he had to do every day. He was able to keep an eye on the situation of the heavenly court and the underworld from the deity's updates. Although he didn't have a lot of deity friends, but it was better than nothing. Yi Zichen scrolled through for a while, but didn't find any useful information. Only then did Yi Zichen log out, but saw a new friend request. Han Xiangzi sent you a friend request. This piece of trash. Yi Zichen ignored the friend request. Only then did he notice that his Adonis, Lu Dongbin, had left him a message. I told old Han already. He knows that he was wrong. You two can chat. Seeing this message, Yi Zichen licked his lips and accepted Han Xiangzi's friend request. He glanced at the intimacy level. Friendly. 100. Oh, it seems like old Lu is pretty amazing. He actually managed to convince this stubborn retard. Celestial Sovereign, sorry. The moment the friend request was accepted, Han Xiangzi immediately sent him an apology message. I was indeed too impulsive at the time. Everything was just my imagination running wild. If I angered Celestial Sovereign in any way, then please don't blame me. His attitude was rather sincere. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Never mind, I don't blame you. This sovereign's tone was indeed too forceful when I spoke to you. Then Celestial Sovereign replied to me. Han Xiangzi laughed loudly as he held Lu Dongbin's phone, while Lu Dongbin's eyes never left his phone. There was no helping it. Han Xiangzi was a phone destroyer. He couldn't help but be on guard. After replying to you, then apologize properly to him. Hurry up and return the phone to me after we start chatting. Esteemed master, you're too petty. So what if you give this phone to me? Han Xiangzi rolled his eyes, while Lu Dongbin frowned. I can die. Old Han, don't even think about tricking old Lu's phone. You can't lose that phone. You haven't seen his WeChat. Who knows how many fairies in the heavenly court are calling him Big Brother Lu and Big Brother Dongbin every day. The reason why he keeps saying that he wants to return to the 8 immortal manor in the heavenly court is because of this. Chao Guojiu smiled playfully, causing Lu Dongbin's face to instantly turn red. Don't say random things. Esteemed master, oh, esteemed master, you truly are deep on the inside. Han Xiangzi clicked his tongue and shook his head. Lu Dongbin rolled his eyes and cursed. Are you going to use the phone or not? Yes, yes, yes. Han Xiangzi replied to Yi Zichen after yelling a few times. It's best if Celestial Sovereign doesn't blame me. I heard that Celestial Sovereign wants the 9-heart lotus root. Ba thump. Yi Zichen's heart skipped a beat when he saw this message. Yeah, I wonder if it's possible, ding dong. The moment Yi Zichen sent the message, his phone buzzed. After exiting the chat, Yi Zichen saw a friend request. Chapter 161. 3-piece set of picking up girls. At the same time, Immortal Lady, he added Yi Zichen as a friend. Han Xiangzi also sent a message. We just told Immortal Lady he and got her to add you as a friend. Thank you. No matter what unhappiness happened before, adding Immortal Lady he as a friend was the most important thing. Yi Zichen quickly accepted Immortal Lady he's friend request. Ding dong. A red packet was sent over before Yi Zichen even said anything. You received Immortal Lady he's red packet. Celestial grade 9-heart lotus root X1. Ba thump. Yi Zichen's heart jumped. I got it. Celestial grade 9-heart lotus root. Immortal Lady he's meticulously cultivated it. It is a necessary item to create a celestial body. F***CK, Yi Zichen could feel that this item was extraordinary just from the description. Immortal Lady he, thank you. Celestial Sovereign is too courteous. Please forgive me if Han Xiangzi has offended you before. Only then did Yi Zichen see Immortal Lady he's profile picture. She was holding a huge lotus leaf as she stood on a green lotus. She gave off a classical aura. It was undeniable that Immortal Lady he was very beautiful. No worries, no worries. Yi Zichen was in a great mood after getting the 9-heart lotus root. Han Xiangzi had also sent another message. Celestial Sovereign, you received the 9-heart lotus root, right? I did. Thank you, Brother Han, for your help. Yi Zichen replied politely. Han Xiangzi of the 8 immortal manner sighed in his heart when he saw the message. What a great deity. He could only blame himself for being too impulsive and making the other party unhappy. Celestial Sovereign, I was truly impulsive just now. I hope you don't mind. No problem. Brother Han's friendship towards Immortal Lady, he is truly rare. It was indeed my fault just now. Telling you Lao to go and find Immortal Lady, he might cause misunderstandings. AI. Han Xiangzi sighed softly. Yi Zichen couldn't help but raise his eyebrows when he saw the message. Why is Brother Han sighing? Celestial Sovereign doesn't know. Han Xiangzi shook his head. Everyone knows about my friendship towards Immortal Lady He. Before I became a deity, I had always pursued Immortal Lady He. However, in order to become an immortal, Fairy and I abandoned our 7 emotions and 6 desires, but I was too infatuated with her. Immortal Ant's immortal heart has not been moved, but I... Han Xiangzi was halfway through his sentence, but from reading between the lines, one could feel that even after becoming an immortal, he was still unable to treat Immortal Lady He with a normal heart. He had feelings for the other party, but there was nothing he could do about it. Everyone knew how it felt to have a crush on someone. His heart ached. Yi Zichen was definitely the type of person who liked to see lovers get married, so he couldn't bear to see Han Xiangzi so pitiful. After Brother Han became an immortal, did you express your feelings to Celestial Maiden He? How is that possible? Han Xiangzi shook his head and sighed. Ever since she became an immortal, Immortal Lady He's immortal heart had never wavered. He was also afraid that if he hastily expressed his feelings, not only would she reject him, but if they couldn't even be friends, then the gains would not make up for the losses. That won't do. If you like him, you have to fight for him, understand? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. You like Immortal Lady He, and what you want the most is to become Tao companions with her. Are you willing to be friends forever? Then what can I do? Confess. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. If you like her, then go and confess. At most, you will fail and can't even be friends, but at least you tried. Otherwise, if you keep it in, who knows what you're thinking? Maybe Immortal Lady He is just waiting for you to tell her. Han Xiangzi, who was in the 8 immortal manner, was slightly moved when he saw the news. To be honest, he had lived too hard for the past several thousand years. Instead of continuing to have a crush like this, he might as well break the paper window. Then I'll go and confess right now. Wait, Yi Zichen quickly stopped him. You can't go like this. You have to have someone to act as a foil. Ow. So F asterisk king stupid. Do I have to teach him how to pick up girls? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes speechlessly, then frowned. Wait a moment for me. The moment he sent the message, Yi Zichen kicked third Fatty Jean, who was sitting on the sofa and looking at the sky. Big bro, go to the department store outside and buy some fireworks and red wine. Fireworks? Red wine? Yeah, hurry up. Third Fatty Jean nodded, then ran out after taking several thousand yuan from Yi Zichen. At the same time, Yi Zichen also took out his phone and called the florist. Hello, this is XXXX. I want to order 999 roses. The best scene to pick up girls, flowers, red wine, and fireworks. Yi Zichen had wanted to make a candlelight dinner or something, but he was afraid that Han Xiangzi's understanding ability was limited, so he didn't make it so high-end. However, since he already had the 3 main items, there shouldn't be too much of a problem. Approximately an hour later, the room was filled with flowers, while third Fatty Jean returned with 6 fireworks tubes and 2 bottles of red wine. Hey, what kind of treasures are these? The great sage skipped over, but Yi Zichen quickly stopped him. This monkey wanted to take a few bites of everything he saw. If he ate the fireworks like they were snacks, then I'll just light him when I set off the fireworks. His mouth was like a fireworks tube. Puff, puff, puff. Of course, that was just a thought. No matter what, he couldn't let the great sage take the risk. This isn't food. Go back and sit. Stingy. The great sage muttered again. Yi Zichen acted like he didn't hear it and scanned the flowers, red wine, and fireworks in the room and sent them over. Along the way, he also gave Han Xiangzi a lighter. Han Xiangzi received your red packet. Celestial Sovereign, what is this? This is good stuff. It's necessary to pick up girls. It increases the success rate of picking up girls by 50%. Then Yi Zichen told Han Xiangzi how to use these things once again. Celestial Sovereign, I don't know how to thank you. Han Xiangzi was also imagining that romantic scene in his mind. He even imagined the scene of him confessing to a mortal lady, and succeeding. Don't be happy too early. Thank me if it's useful. Okay, Han Xiangzi, will never forget Celestial Sovereign's kindness. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Han Xiangzi increased by 100. Current intimacy level, 200. Intimacy level leveled up. Current level, trusted. Yi Zichen didn't know why, but he felt like he lost out when he only got Han Xiangzi's intimacy level with a small investment of 10,000 yuan. Han Xiangzi was a flute player when he became a deity back then, but his master, Lu Dongbin, was rather fierce. Yi Zichen didn't know what benefits he could get from him. Yi Zichen opened the WeChat group and looked at the chat history. The moment Yi Zichen entered, he saw the god of fortune telling the people in the group to spread their wealth. He hadn't snatched red packets in the group for a long time, although the god of fortune's red packets were money, but 1 ingot was 10,000 yuan. Yi Zichen focused himself and prepared to snatch the red packet. Ding dong. A huge red packet appeared on the screen. Just as Yi Zichen was about to click on it, buzz, damn it. Chapter 162. The Transformer spoke. The person who called was Kong Peng. This guy could always call at these sort of crucial moments. Yi Zichen frowned, then leaned back on the sofa and said helplessly, "What happened?" Kong Peng's voice was trembling. Yi Zichen was extremely sensitive towards it after the kidnapping incident with Fu Qingming. "What happened to you guys?" A solemn voice sounded out. Kong Peng stood at the entrance of the dormitory, while Zhu Yunbai, Yu, and company stood beside him. They were all huddled together and stared closely at the transformer that Yi Zichen put on. "Your transformer has spoken." Yi Zichen hurried back to the school dormitory. The moment he entered, he saw Kong Peng standing in the corner of the room. "Mortal, you actually dared to touch me. You guys are seeking death. I want you to apologize to me. Speak. Do you think that you can escape this by remaining silent?" An angry roar entered Yi Zichen's ears. He looked towards the source of a voice and saw Di Tian, who turned the great sage into a transformer, waving his hands and shouting in the dormitory. "Easy, hurry up, and look at your transformer. What the hell? Kong Pong swallowed his saliva and said, "Oh well, Six saw a transformer on your bed just now." So he moved his hands a few times. Who knew that Yi Zichen could only walk over under everyone's gaze? When Di Tian saw him, he immediately jumped up with a mechanical hand and punched him. Yi Zichen, F***CKU. Bang. Yi Zichen kicked Di Tian into the corner of the wall. Yi Zichen, you actually dare to hit me. F***King stop. Bang. With another kick, Yi Zichen picked him up, covered his mouth, and ran out. You can't tell anyone about this, understand? Understood. Kong Pong and company nodded subconsciously. Yi Zichen licked his lips, then punched the transformer's stomach once more, causing it to cry out before leaving the dormitory. When Yi Zichen left with the transformer, everyone in the dormitory cursed simultaneously. Mother asterisk cur, am I still asleep? That transformer really spoke. Within Yi Zichen's home, third fatty Jean squatted on the ground and curiously looked at Di Tian, who was standing on the ground. How generous. Even Master might not be able to do such a thing, Yi Futian said. Yi Zichen, shut the F***CK up. Clang. Di Tian, who had sent the transformer flying with a kick and crashed into the wall, slowly stood up from the ground. Not long after, a familiar curse rang out in the room. Restrain him. All right. Third fatty Jean raised his hand to cover the transformer's mouth, then looked towards the great sage. What are you talking about? Great sage, what's going on? The great sage placed the waha on the coffee table and shrugged. Isn't that normal? Old son didn't kill him. His soul is still there. It can be said that he is still alive. Right now, this is just a form of him. However, he still has the ability to think and speak. Then how can we make him behave? A transformer speaking would be considered a supernatural event in the modern world. Based on his relationship with his roommates, the news might not spread outside. However, if Di Tian continued to shout like this, then it would still be a problem. There's no helping it. How about you talk to him? The great sage shrugged helplessly. Yi Zichen couldn't help but roll his eyes when he saw his irresponsible look. There was nothing he could do. Since the great sage couldn't help but help, then he could only go and negotiate with Di Tian. Let go. Third fatty Jean let go. The moment he let go, Di Tian immediately jumped up and tried to hit Yi Zichen. Slap. Yi Zichen slapped Di Tian's head, then squatted in front of him and raised his eyebrows. Who can you hit in your current state? Yi Zichen, just what kind of demonic technique did you use on this young master? Hurry up and change back for this young master. This young master can prevent you from dying. Slap. Yi Zichen slapped Di Tian onto the ground and raised his eyebrows. Are you really stupid or are you pretending to be? Take a look at yourself, and you're still trying to negotiate with me? Have you heard of the ancient Chinese saying? When you're under someone else's roof, you have to lower your head. If you keep acting like this, I'll have to remove your arms and legs. With that, Yi Zichen reached out to dismantle the transformer's limbs. Wait a moment. Di Tian raised his hand to stop Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen also looked at Di Tian with an expression of, let's continue. I think we can make a deal. What deal? Yi Zichen asked with interest. Turn me back and let me go. I won't trouble you when I return to the clan. Pa, what greeted Di Tian was another slap. Do you think I'm stupid? Isn't letting you go like releasing a tiger back into the mountains? Grandson, this young master is giving you a chance. If you don't let me go, my brother and father won't let you go. Di Tian raised his head and cursed. Third fatty Jean furrowed his brows. Boss, is this the grandson of the D family? Yi Zichen nodded. Who the F***CK are you calling grandson? Grandson. Di Tian jumped up and wanted to punch him, but third fatty Jean pressed him to the ground with a 5-finger mountain. Grandson, I'm the third disciple of great Emperor Qingming. My name is Jin Zhu, and my Taoist title is Sanpang. You F***King dare to curse Lord Fatty? Do you believe that Lord Fatty will annihilate your entire family? Di Tian was stunned. The rogue immortal family had naturally heard of great Emperor Qingming's name. But why would great Emperor Qingming's disciple come to the modern realm? I'm telling you, you better behave. My esteemed master has already contacted your family. They probably won't offend my esteemed master for you, so don't count on your brother and father to save you. Fisk, who are you trying to scare? Disdain flashed across Di Tian's eyes. Just because you say that you're great Emperor Qingming's successor, you don't believe me? Third Fatty Jean snorted coldly, then revealed his right arm. See for yourself. There was a deep blue mark of the 8 trigrams on Third Fatty Jin's right arm, which seemed to have 2 azure dragons coiling around it. That was a mark that only great Emperor Qingming's direct disciple would have. Just kill me. Both Yi Zichen and Third Fatty Jean were shocked by Di Tian's reply. They had thought that this grandson would kneel down and lick Di Tian after revealing the mark of great Emperor Qingming's direct disciple. They didn't expect him to have a backbone. Yi Zichen definitely couldn't kill him. The reason he wanted to keep him alive was because he would still be useful in the future. Yi Zichen's understanding of the hidden families in the modern realm could be considered as a blank piece of paper. Di Tian might be a breakthrough point. You have a backbone. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and smiled. However, Di Tian snorted in disdain. Give Laozi a quick death. Chapter 163. Give Han Xiangzi a mobile phone in the blink of an eye. 3 days had passed. It's the great sage's signature, but great sage Sun's handwriting is so ugly. Xia Kiki giggled as she played with the card in her hand. Yi Zichen snuck a glance at the girl, then said, "What do you think? Coco, aren't you curious at all?" "Curious about what?" Xia Kiki broke into a smile and carefully placed the autograph in her pocket. "Aren't you curious why a character from a fairy tale would appear in reality and even know me?" "Aya, you're talking about this." Xia Kiki was stunned for a moment, then smiled in realization. "What's there to be curious about? I've always believed that Sun Wukong and the others really exist." Yi Zichen looked at her blankly. He didn't think that she was actually this sort of girl. Should I say that she is naive, or should I say that she... But it was fine. She didn't ask, and it saved her the trouble of explaining. "Why didn't Su Yin come with you?" As they walked side by side on the street, Xia Kiki put on an unhappy expression and pouted. "What? Don't you like me looking for you alone?" "Nope." This girl's heart was really like a needle at the bottom of the sea. She would let her imagination run wild at the slightest disagreement. Xia Kiki pinched Xia Kiki's cheeks and pouted. Susu said that Grandpa is going to celebrate his birthday and that she needs to prepare a birthday present or something. Old Master Su's birthday. Yi Zichen was stunned. He really hadn't heard of it before. Given his relationship with Old Master Su, he had to give him a birthday gift no matter what. He was also out of monkey wine. When he returned, he had to ask the great sage for a few gourds. After drinking so many bottles of Waha, it shouldn't be too much to ask for a few gourds of monkey wine. Beep beep. A car horn sounded out behind them. Hearing that, Yi Zichen and Xia Kiki turned around and saw a small beetle parked on the side of the road behind them. Wu Haoyu and Lin Ru ran side by side toward them. "Yi Zichen, Brother Zichen, you know him?" Xia Kiki looked up in confusion. Yi Zichen nodded, then revealed a faint look of helplessness. If there were no surprises, they had come here to find him because of the Lin family's old man. "If you're here for Old Man Lin, then we have nothing to talk about." Yi Zichen spoke up first. Regardless of whether it was Lin's mockery towards him or Lin Hanbin's attempt to forcefully make him stay, they both touched his bottom line. He had to be crazy to save the old man of the Lin family. He was not some great saint, and he did not have the heart to bemoan the state of the universe and pity the fate of mankind. Brother Zichen. Hearing Yi Zichen's words, their expressions froze. They did indeed come for Old Man Lin. "Lin Ru, Wu Haoyu, don't tell me you don't know how Lin Hanbin and Lin treated me?" Yi Zichen frowned deeply. Lin Ru bit her lips, then said apologetically, "Don't worry. Yi Zichen, I apologize to you on behalf of second uncle and my cousin. Their actions at that time were indeed extreme, but my grandfather is innocent. Old Master Lin is indeed innocent. But I'm innocent too." Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled, then put on a helpless expression. "Yi Zichen," Lin Ru roared. All of a sudden, she shifted her gaze towards Xia Kiki and clenched her teeth. "If you help treat my grandpa, Then I won't tell Susu that you cheated outside. It could be said that Lin Ru was struggling a lot. She was the kind of person who hated evil. If it was before, when she saw Yi Zichen hanging out with other girls, she might have already slapped him to vent Su Yan's anger. However, for their family's old man, Yi Zichen, don't say that she has a normal relationship with you. Lin Ru's eyes were filled with deep suspicion. Hearing that, Yi Zichen shrugged helplessly. Lin Ru, why are you so cute? Lin Ru, why are you so cute? Threatening me with this? Uh-huh, I'm threatening you. Lin Ru bit her lips and frowned. Just go and save my grandpa. Yi Zichen couldn't help but say when he saw Lin Ru's pitiful look. Never mind. I don't want to ruin our relationship because of this. How about this? If you want me to save old man Lin, sure. Then let Lin Hanbin and Lin apologize in person. With that, he held Xia Kik's hand and left in front of Lin Ru. Lin Ru clenched her teeth and continuously waved her fist as she watched him leave. That scum actually dared to betray Susu. I'm so mad. Lil Ru, the situation might not be what you think it is. Don't speak up for him. I thought he was a good person. I didn't think that. Huh. Lin Ru frowned. When I trick him over to treat my grandpa, then I'll definitely tell Susu to break up with him. Wu Hao Yu smiled wryly on the side. At this moment, Lin Ru also took out her phone and shouted into the phone. Lin, tell your dad that if he wants Yi Zichen to save grandpa, then tell him to apologize in person with you. Not long after they walked out, Xia Kiki shrugged speechlessly. Who is that girl? Who is that girl? She even knows Susu? She has a good relationship with Susu. However, Xia Kiki twitched her mouth. It's good that I didn't feel it. If I saw that sort of situation, I would definitely call Susu immediately. She doesn't have a choice. Her family's old man situation requires my help. Oh yeah, Xia Kiki blinked her cute eyes. Then what about their family's old man? Ding dong. Before Yi Zichen could reply, his phone vibrated. Your intimacy level with Han Xiangzi increased by 50. Current intimacy level, 250. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Intimacy level increased. It seems like my pickup skills are pretty good. Ding dong. Lu Dongbin. Celestial Sovereign. Thank you. Yi Zichen was stunned. Why was Lu Dongbin looking for him? Shouldn't it be Han Xiangzi? Lu Dongbin. Celestial Sovereign. I'm Han Xiangzi. Yi Zichen smiled in relief when he saw the message. That's more like it. It seems like Brother Han and Immortal Lady here progressing pretty well. It's all right. At least you said what's on your mind. Immortal Lady, she didn't explicitly refuse. It's good that she didn't refuse. Yi Zichen pursed his lips with a smile. Brother Han has to strike while the iron is hot. Great deity, what do you think I should do? Yi Zichen seemed to have become Han Xiangzi's backbone. There was no helping it. Their relationship that hadn't progressed for 1,000 years instantly changed after meeting Yi Zichen. This caused him to be unable to help but look at Yi Zichen in a different light. Yi Zichen didn't want to teach him the following steps, but he felt a bit awkward when he saw Lu Dongbin's profile picture on the phone. Why is Brother Han using Great Deity Lu's phone? Yeah, I don't say it. Han Xiangzi blushed. I had an argument with Great Deity, so I smashed the phone. Then by one, Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Otherwise, it's not right for Brother Han to always use Great Deity Lu's phone to chat with me. Great Deity, don't you know that phones are rare in the Heavenly Court? I smashed one a while ago. I really can't afford it now. Rare thing. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and smiled. Chapter 164. The phone was just the first step. Yi Zichen ran over to a phone store to buy a smartphone, then sent it over to Han Xiangzi. Ding dong. Lu Dongbin has received your red envelope. Within the 8 Immortals' residence. Han Xiangzi's hands trembled as he looked at the phone Yi Zichen sent over. This phone was much prettier than the ones they bought in the Heavenly Court, especially since this great immortal actually gave them a phone. This was a black technology that could only be bought with the savings of the 8 Immortals. Immortal Sovereign, I really don't know. Han Xiangzi was so excited that he couldn't speak. Yi Zichen pursed his lips with a smile. Try to see if you can use it first. He did send the phone over, but he didn't know if the Heavenly Court's technology was the same as his. If it could be used, it might be another business opportunity. If it couldn't be used, then it would be a waste of time. Yi Zichen let Han Xiangzi familiarize himself with the phone, then put his phone back into his pocket. Only then did he see Xia Kiki tilting her head and blinking her bright eyes at him. "You're chatting with Han Xiangzi." "Yeah." Yi Zichen nodded noncommittally. The reason why he didn't hide anything from Xia Kiki was because he didn't want to lie to them anymore. Everything would be revealed sooner or later, so he might as well lay his cards on the table as soon as possible. That way, he wouldn't have to be on tenterhooks every day. He had already prepared a series of excuses, but Xia Kiki merely blinked and curled her lips. "You're right." "Oh, oh, oh, oh." She only said, "Oh, aren't you curious?" "What should I be curious about?" Xia Kiki widened her large, bright eyes and said, "Even I believe in the existence of the great sage, so I naturally believe in the existence of Han Xiangzi. Even a great sage can come here to play with you. What's so surprising about you chatting with Han Xiangzi on WeChat?" "Holy shit." Yi Zichen couldn't help but touch Xia Kiki's forehead. "What are you doing?" Xia Kiki pouted unhappily. "Don't tell me you're not surprised that I forgot to take my medicine today, or that I woke up too early. It's not strange." There was no need to mention how cool Xia Kiki's reply was, causing Yi Zichen to be stunned for a long time. Wow, this girl is really not an ordinary person. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Han Xiangzi increased by 50. Current intimacy level, 300. Not long after the news came out, Han Xiangzi's profile picture flashed. Han Xiangzi, great deity, the phone could be used. Ha! He snapped his fingers. The cell phones here could actually be used in the heavenly court. From Han Xiangzi's words, one could tell that the cell phones in the heavenly court were ridiculously expensive, but it wasn't expensive here. High grade, mid grade, low grade. You can choose. It's good that you can use it. Help me spread the word in the heavenly court. I sell cell phones here. They are of good quality and cheap. Contact me if you need them. Then I want to buy the same phone for Celestial Ant. The moment Yi Zichen sent the phone over, Immortal Lady he immediately said that she wanted it. Han Xiangzi couldn't wait for Immortal Lady he to ask him for a gift. He had already made up his mind. No matter how crazy Yi Zichen's price was, he had to get the phone. 200,000 cultivation experience. Black. Yi Zichen was walking further and further down the path of an unscrupulous businessman. A phone that was worth 2,000 was sold for 200,000 cultivation experience. That was 100 times the price. When he was selling snacks, he only increased the price by 10 times. Cultivation experience. Yi Zichen thought that he was rather black, but Han Xiangzi didn't think so. What deities like them, who had attained the Tao, lacked the least was cultivation experience. It could be said that cultivation experience was pretty much dispensable for them. Ding dong. Han Xiangzi directly sent the cultivation experience over without saying anything else. You received Han Xiangzi's red packet. Cultivation experience X 400,000. Han Xiangzi. Great deity needs cultivation experience. Could it be that you want to break through to the celestial position? We 8 immortals don't really need cultivation experience. Just pretend that I bought the last phone from you. Good brat. He really knows how to be a deity. Several 100,000 cultivation experience was sent over without even blinking. It seemed like the people in the heavenly court truly didn't care about cultivation experience. However, Yi Zichen had to admit that selling phones was truly a good job. He had only earned several 100,000 cultivation experience by working himself to the bone by selling snacks. Now, he got 400,000 for 2 phones. Yi Zichen ran over to the phone store to buy another smartphone of the same type, then sent it over to Han Xiangzi. Only after 10 odd minutes did Han Xiangzi reappear. Great deity. I wonder how I can improve my relationship with Immortal Lady He. Did the relationship between you two not improve just now? Yi Zichen smiled playfully. I won't hide it from great deity. Immortal Lady He's feelings towards me did change. Yeah, that's right. Yi Zichen guided him like he was experienced. Giving her a phone is just the first step, but I have a step that can quickly improve your relationship. Great deity, please go ahead. Han Xiangzi's expression tensed up. Wait a moment for me. With that, Yi Zichen put the phone back into his pocket and tugged at Xia Kiki, who was completely shocked. We finished chatting? Xiaokiki was completely confused. Yi Zichen rubbed her head. Don't worry. Yi Zichen rubbed her head and said, not yet, but we need to go and do something big. What? Just come with me. Yi Zichen called a taxi, then found a jewelry store nearby. What did women like the most? Of course, it was a shiny diamond ring. If Han Xiangzi could give a mortal lady a diamond ring, Yi Zichen was certain that it would definitely be a critical hit. Perhaps the two of them might directly fall in love for 3 lifetimes. Yi Zichen, what did you bring me here for? Xiaokiki blushed. She knew what kind of place this was. Her heart beat rapidly, while her beautiful eyes continuously swept across Yi Zichen's body. Could it be that he was going to give her a diamond ring? Something important? Oh, Xiaokiki nodded obediently, then allowed Yi Zichen to hold her hand and walk to the counter of the jewelry store with a racing heart. Sir, do you want to buy a ring? I'm just looking around. The clerk nodded in understanding. People who came here were just looking around, but since they entered this jewelry store, it meant that they had a need to buy. As for whether or not they would be able to sell it, that would depend on the skills of the clerk. Take this, and this out for me to see. Yi Zichen pointed at 7 or 8 diamond rings, all of which were priced above 300,000. The clerk was stunned for a moment. She had worked here for so long, but she had never seen anyone look at rings like that. However, since the customer wanted it, they naturally had to satisfy it. Since they dared to look at rings like that, then they might be able to get a huge order. Just as the clerk was about to take out the rings, a woman who was dressed strangely, seductively walked over from behind Yi Zichen. Chapter 165. Transfer of $1. The female supervisor's voice wasn't soft, and many customers in the shop looked over. Sensing everyone's gazes, Yi Zichen smiled wryly and shrugged. Beauty, are you saying that I can't afford it? Do you think you can afford it? The female supervisor showed no mercy at all. She then turned her gaze to the shop assistant and reprimanded her. You too. How would you take a ring from a random person? Are you crazy about making money? Sister Jiang, does the customer want to see me? You still dare to talk back? The supervisor furiously rebuked. I'll take this opportunity to teach you a lesson. Did you see what he's wearing? He doesn't even have $1,000 on him. Don't be fooled by the brand of his clothes. It's all fake goods. Do you think someone like him can afford our diamond rings? Yi Zichen stood to the side with interest, but did not get angry. Needless to say, he had experienced this kind of situation a few times and was already used to it. But Xiaoko was not willing. Woman, how can you speak like that? Is there anyone who looks down on people like that? Sister, it seems like you haven't graduated from university yet. The female supervisor looked at Xia Kik's young face and laughed softly. Why do you care if I graduated or not? Xia Kiki frowned and said righteously, I'm telling you that it's wrong for you to look down on people like that. The female supervisor shook her head with a smile, while her disdain towards Yi Zichen became even more obvious. Sister, you are still young. When you graduate from university, you will understand that love is actually useless. Just like this little brother beside you. He might be good at sweet talking, but following him won't lead to anything. He was a profiteer or a slave to money. It was vividly displayed on this female supervisor. Yi Zichen rubbed his nose, then stopped Xia Kiki, who still wanted to argue with him, before turning his head towards the clerk. Please take out the ring. I want to see it. Why are you so stubborn? Your skin is so thick. The supervisor frowned, then pushed Yi Zichen to the side. Caught off guard, Xia Kiki fell to the ground. Are you King sick? Yi Zichen cursed at the female supervisor, then helped Xia Kiki up. After confirming that she was not injured, he walked to the female supervisor with a frown. I didn't want to talk to you from the beginning. Don't push your luck. Apologize to Kiki, and I'll pretend this never happened. Yo, you dare to scold me, security? As soon as he finished speaking, 3 or 4 security guards immediately surrounded him. Throw him out for me. Yi Zichen licked his lips and revealed a playful smile as he looked at the security guards who were glaring at him. He wanted to fight. Are you sure you don't want to apologize? Yi Zichen glared at him. The female supervisor revealed a disdainful smile and scolded him. What are you waiting for? Throw him out. The group of security guards didn't dare to disobey her. Everyone in the store knew that this woman was the mistress of their store manager. Using the excuse of being the store manager, she often acted like a tyrant in the shop. Although the other party was a customer for the sake of his job, he had to do it. "Sir, please leave." The security made a please gesture. Yi Zichen twisted his neck and smiled towards Xia Kiki. "Wait for me on the side." "All right." Xia Kiki obediently ran to the side. Crack. The bones in Yi Zichen's body cracked, while he smiled playfully. "Come together." "Stop." Just as the security guard were about to charge over, an angry roar sounded out from outside the jewelry store. The female supervisor, who had been smiling coldly with her arms crossed, immediately revealed a terrified expression. The other security guards also stopped and lowered their heads. "Director Zhu." "Zhu? What a familiar name." Yi Zichen turned around and saw Zhu Siliang frown, while a woman with gold-rimmed glasses walked over. "Brother Yi, this is young Master Zhu's property." Yi Zichen revealed a playful expression. Zhu Siliang suddenly reached out his hand and raised his eyebrows. "Yes, this is indeed my property, but it won't be very soon. I wonder if Brother Yi has any cash. Any amount is fine. Give it to me." Hey, you're a bit too much. I was bullied in your territory, and you're asking me for money? Brother Yi, just give it to me." Yi Zichen took out a wrinkled 1 yuan note from his pocket and chucked it into Zhu Siliang's hands. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. "That's all. Take it or leave it." "That's enough." Zhu Siliang placed the note into the hands of the secretary beside him and shrugged with a smile. "All right, this shop is Brother Yi's." "What the heck?" Yi Zichen was stunned. Zhu Siliang smiled. "I'll transfer this jewelry store to Brother Yi for 1 yuan. I'll transfer this jewelry store to Brother Yi at the price of $1. I'll get my secretary to draft the contract later, but for now, Brother Yi can perform the duties of a boss." "Brat, you know how to behave." Yi Zichen looked up and pointed at Zhu Siliang with a shake of his head with a smile. He didn't think that this guy would do this. Pretentious. Yi Zichen expressed that he liked it the most. Yi Zichen glanced at the female supervisor with a pale expression, then walked beside the secretary with a smile. "Contact the store manager of this shop. Since a little supervisor dares to be so cocky, there must be someone supporting him. Tell him that he's fired." Then, Yi Zichen turned his head towards the shop assistant from before. "From now on, you are the store manager of this shop. And me?" The saleswoman didn't expect such a big pie to fall on her head. She looked at Zhu Siliang in astonishment. "Don't look at me. This shop is Brother Yi's. If he says you're the store manager, then you're the store manager." The clerk still did not come back to her senses. Yi Zichen raised his hand and waved it in front of her. "Stop blanking out, lucky girl. Right now, your store supervisor is bullying your boss. You should know what to do, right?" The clerk bit her lips. Then, she suddenly walked in front of the female supervisor with a firm gaze. "Jiang Yin, you're fired from now on. Go to the finance department to settle your salary." With that, the clerk placed her hands on her abdomen and smiled towards the customers in the shop. "Sorry, I startled everyone. In order to apologize, we'll give everyone a 10% discount when buying anything in this shop today." Even Zhu Siliang, who was on the side, was shocked by the clerk's actions. Very skillful. Talented. After dealing with everything properly, the clerk returned to her timid self and bit her lips. "Boss, do you think that I dealt with it like this?" "Don't ask me. You're the store manager of this shop. You can do whatever you want." Yi Zichen patted her shoulders, then glanced at the tag on her chest. "Li Shuang, not bad. I'll leave this shop to you from now on." "Okay, boss. I will carefully manage this shop." Chapter 166. 30 million cultivation experience. Yi Zichen sat on the sofa casually in the VIP room of the jewelry store with his legs crossed and a cigarette in his mouth. He raised his eyebrows and looked at Zhu Siliang, who was silent. "Young Master Zhu, say it. Lin Hanbin told me to come." Yi Zichen's expression darkened before Zhu Siliang finished. He put out the cigarette in the ashtray and toyed with the smell. "Lin Hanbin, I didn't think that you had a relationship with him. We're both from the capital, and the Lin family does have some power in the capital. It's very normal for us to know each other." Zhu Siliang nodded with a smile. It seems like there's a conflict between you two. A huge conflict. The mocking smile on Yi Zichen's face became even more obvious when he thought about what happened to the Lin family. If you want to be the middleman, then I feel like there's no way. Zhu Xiliang's eyes flashed as he asked tentatively. Zhu Xiliang's smile froze. Can you tell me the reason? Zhu Xiliang briefly explained what Lin Hanbin and Lin Lin had done. Zhu Xiliang's mellow smile froze. Zhu Xiliang's warm smile froze. Since it's like that, then it seems like I've been used by Lin Hanbin. A hint of anger could be seen on his face. It was clear that he was rather displeased with Lin Hanbin. Yi Zichen shrugged helplessly, then pursed his lips with a smile. He's about the same as Yang Yusher's dad. They're both arrogant people. It's not too good to talk about Uncle Yang in front of me like that, right? Don't you think so? What pity. I thought that we would think alike. Zhu Xiliang laughed softly and didn't reply. At this moment, Yi Zichen also stood up. If there's nothing else, then I'll be leaving. Wait a moment. Yi Zichen turned around in confusion. Zhu Xiliang walked towards him. Yusher wants to see you. Yi Zichen's unruly expression paused for a moment when he mentioned Yang Yusher. After a moment of hesitation, he pursed his lips and smiled. Never mind. But Yang. Before Zhu Xiliang could say anything, Yi Zichen's phone suddenly rang. He quickly took out his phone and saw the message from Han Xiangzi. Only then did he remember that he still had business to attend to. Let's not talk anymore. Send my regards to Yang Yusher. I still have other things to do. With that, Yi Zichen hurriedly left the VIP room and replied to Han Xiangzi. Right away. Heavenly Court's 8 immortal abode. Han Xiangzi was truly too obedient. When Yi Zichen told him to wait, he just stared at his phone without leaving it for a single second. Ding dong. His phone vibrated. Han Xiangzi quickly stood up from the chair when he saw Yi Zichen's reply. All right. Yi Zichen walked in front of the counter after seeing Han Xiangzi's reply. Boss. Li Shuang was still wearing the clothes of a shop assistant. After Rong Sheng became the store manager, the joy on her face and the faint domineering aura couldn't be concealed. She was very grateful to this benefactor. If it weren't for him, she might have to work as a shopping guide for a long time. Opportunities were always fleeting. This time, she had grasped it tightly. She would not let go even if she had to die. Take out the rings I mentioned earlier. Okay. A row of rings was placed on the counter. Xia Kiki, who was beside Yi Zichen, felt her heart jump out from the pressure. Is he going to buy it for me? Is he going to buy it for me? Xia Kiki continuously repeated those words in her heart, but she saw a click. Yi Zichen didn't even touch the rings. Instead, he took a bunch of photos. Yi Zichen clicked on the chat with Han Xiangzi and sent. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Han Xiangzi's phone rang within the 8 immortal manner. This is, Han Xiangzi revealed a confused expression. He thought that Yi Zichen was going to teach him some secret of love. He didn't expect him to send a bunch of pictures. Great deity. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes when he saw Han Xiangzi's question mark. Take it to a mortal lady, and ask her which one she likes. There was no reply. It seemed like Han Xiangzi went to find a mortal lady, Yi Zichen stretched lazily out of boredom. Only then did he notice that Xia Kiki, who was beside him, had a frown on her face. What happened? You're crying because your period came. Ignore me. Xia Kiki swung her hand angrily. However, Yi Zichen noticed the way she peeked at the rings. Yi Zichen chuckled. Then he called Li Shuang over. They whispered into each other's ears. Li Shuang nodded and left again. Xia Kiki occasionally peeked at Yi Zichen with her large eyes, then peeked at the rings. This idiot. Xia Kiki continuously rubbed the corner of her clothes in anger. At that moment, Han Xiangzi also replied. Great deity, I want to buy it, I want to buy it. Han Xiangzi's eyes turned red. Just now, when he showed a mortal lady the ring, she directly said, if he could buy it for her, then she would give him a chance. 1,000 years. He had waited for 1,000 years. Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled when he felt the urgency in Han Xiangzi's message. Which one? Ding dong. Han Xiangzi sent a picture over. Yi Zichen looked at the ring according to the picture. He looked at the price, Z's. More than 300,000. Great deity, how much cultivation experience does it need this time? If he was going to do it, then he had to do it big. There were too many treasures that Yi Zichen wanted to buy in the treasure shop. If he slowly earned cultivation experience, then he wouldn't be able to buy them all even if he worked his entire life. Yi Zichen made up his mind, then squinted his eyes and replied, 30 million cultivation experience. Clack! Within the 8 Immortals manner, Han Xiangzi's phone slipped out of his hand. 30 million. Although he was a great deity that had been famous for a long time, he truly couldn't afford 30 million cultivation experience. The 8 Immortals were not like the great deities in the heavenly court, who had worships and could obtain cultivation experience from them. His Tao was something that he had to train himself. He couldn't really bring himself to ask his brothers to borrow cultivation experience. However, he had to buy the ring for immortal lady he's love. Yi Zichen glanced at Lu Dongbin, who was practicing with his sword. Great deity, I can't afford 30 million cultivation experience. Yi Zichen was stunned when he saw the message. He had thought that the deities in the heavenly court all had several 100 million cultivation experience. They couldn't even afford 30 million. Business had to be done in one go. If he lowered the price, then wouldn't it seem like he was screwing him over? Han Xiangzi, who was in the heavenly court, also got a bit anxious when he didn't get a reply from Yi Zichen. Great deity, can I trade with another item? Sure. Yi Zichen's eyes brightened when he saw Han Xiangzi's reply. However, he didn't know what sort of treasure he could take out that could be worth 30 million cultivation experience. Even if Fiery Eyes of Truth only had 1 million cultivation experience. Of course, that was only the first level. But that was still the great sage's treasure. Yi Zichen really didn't believe that Han Xiangzi could take out a treasure worth 30 million. Ding dong. Yi Zichen's phone vibrated. Chapter 167. Lu Dongbin's pure young immortal heart he sent it directly. Yi Zichen was stunned for a moment when he saw the red packet. Han Xiangzi truly trusted him. The question was, what treasure was he going to use to exchange for it? He opened the red envelope. You have received Han Xiangzi's red envelope. Immortal Heart of Pure Yang X1 at the same time in the 8 Immortals' residence. Han Xiangzi cautiously sneaked a peek at Lu Dongbin, who was practicing his sword on the side, and walked to a corner of the mansion. Great Immortal, this is my master's Pure Yang Immortal Heart Manual. Damn, the secret manual of Great Immortal Lu. He opened the treasure chest. Immortal Heart of Pure Yang Manual. Immortal art created by Lu Dongbin. After learning it, one can increase their cultivation without cultivating. It could be used from false spirit body to sky immortal full circle. A must for lazy people. Yi Zichen's eyes brightened when he saw the note. He had been worrying about not having any secret scriptures to cultivate. Now, it was Lu Dongbin's immortal heart of pure yang. Moreover, he could save himself from the tedious training. However, Yi Zichen searched the treasure shop again with the mindset that a merchant couldn't lose out. However, when he saw the price of the immortal heart of Pure Yang, he was instantly dumbfounded. Pure Yang Immortal Heart Secret Manual, first level, required cultivation experience to exchange for 50,000,000. F asterisk CKU. One layer cost 5 million, which was even more expensive than the great sage's eyes of fire and gold. More importantly, Han Xiangzi didn't seem to have written much on it. Is this the complete book? Yes, the first layer to the 9th layer are all up there. Han Xiangzi replied cautiously. If Lu Dongbin were to find out, he would definitely be beaten to death. Yi Zichen was shocked. This was really a windfall. If it was out of consideration for the customers in the store, Yi Zichen really wanted to jump up and shout. Unable to calm down for a long time, Han Xiangzi of the Heavenly Court became anxious. Immortal Venerable, can this secret manual be exchanged for? Yes. If this secret manual could not be exchanged for a ring, then there was nothing else that could be exchanged for this ring. Li Shuang, wrap this ring up for me. I'm taking it. Yes, boss. Putting the ring into his pocket, Xia Kik's unhappy face lit up again. Could it be that he was going to give it to her? He was going to give it to her. But I don't really like that ring, but it's better than nothing. Xia Kik's heart raced once again, while she followed Zichen out of the jewelry store with eyes filled with anticipation. Tyrant bro, that ring. After walking for a while, Xia Kiki couldn't help but ask. Hearing that, Yi Zichen was momentarily stunned. He looked at her expectant expression. You mean this ring? Well, what are you going to do? Xia Keek's heart raced as she waited for Yi Zichen to put it on her finger. It's for Han Xiangzi. With that, Yi Zichen took out his phone to scan. Ding dong. He sent it to Han Xiangzi. Swoosh. Xia Keek's face turned incomparably pale. She looked at the ring that disappeared from Yi Zichen's hand in a daze. It wasn't a ring for her. It wasn't a ring for her. It wasn't a ring for her. He muttered in his heart. Gradually, his anticipation turned into endless disappointment. A bitter smile spread across his face. I was thinking too much, Xia Kiki thought silently. However, at that very moment, a sparkling ring suddenly appeared in front of her. She looked up and saw Yi Zichen's smiling face, as well as the ring on his finger. It was the ring that she liked. Little fellow, do you think I can't tell what you're thinking? Yi Zichen rubbed her hair, causing Xia Kiki to suddenly cry tears of joy. Bad guy, you only know how to bully me. She continuously punched Yi Zichen's chest while she bit her lips. She was truly disappointed just now. Don't cry. Yi Zichen wiped away the tears from the corner of Xia Kik's eyes, then raised her fair hand and put the ring on. It suits you very well. Xia Kiki looked at the ring on her finger and was unable to speak due to excitement. In the end, she could only jump into Yi Zichen's arms and cry, All right. Ding dong. Your affability level with Xia Kiki increased by 50. Current affability level, 320. You and Xia Kiki. Your affability level with Xia Kiki increased by 50. Current affability level, 520. Affability level increased. Current relationship, lovers. Flirting demon. Lu Jing floated in midair with a look of disdain, but more of it was gratification. Yi Zichen raised his hand and patted her head. She bit her lips, snorted angrily, and floated to the side. At the same time, Xia Kiki also left his embrace. I don't look good, do I? There were still traces of tears at the corner of her eyes. Yi Zichen took out a napkin to wipe away her tears and shook his head. No, you've always been very pretty. I know I'm pretty. Xia Kiki sobbed as she looked up with her delicate face. She raised her hand towards the sunlight and looked at the sparkling ring. Then, she bit her lips, tiptoed, and pecked Yi Zichen's lips. To reward you. Xia Kiki lowered her head and replied with a blush. Yi Zichen chuckled and grabbed her hand. This ring is very expensive. It's just a kiss. Then what else do you want? Xia Kiki pouted. Yi Zichen looked at her face and pursed his lips into a smile. A kiss isn't enough. With that, Yi Zichen hugged her waist and pecked her without caring about the bystanders around them. After a long time, when the two of them were about to suffocate, only then did Yi Zichen leave her lips. Xia Kik's entire face was as red as an apple, and she didn't dare to look up at him at all. Damn pervert. Lu Jing stood on the side with her hands on her waist. She had seen the entire scene of Yi Zichen and Xia Kik's passion. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes speechlessly. This girl was truly weird. Even though she called him a damn pervert, she would always watch from the side every single time it happened. Xiao Yumei was like that back then, and Xia Kiki was still like that now. Was the phone in Yi Zichen's pocket rang. Yi Zichen took out his phone and looked at the caller ID. It's Su Yan. If you dare to tell Su, then I'm going to beat you to death. Xia Kiki raised her fist. She was extremely embarrassed. I won't. Yi Zichen rubbed her head, then put the phone beside his ear. I'm with Kiki. How's the gift shopping going? Do you want us to go over and help you choose? I do want to see who dares to go into his shop to buy antiques. If you mess around here, then I'm going to call the police. An angry curse sounded out from the phone, followed by a few more shouts and arguments. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows when he heard the conversation. Su-Yan, what happened over there? It's connected. A mutter sounded out from Su-Yan's phone. Not long later, Yi Zichen heard her shout. Chapter 168. Big Boss Antique Street. Whether it was to find treasure or to pick up leftovers, there was always an endless stream of customers. In a simple and unadorned pawn shop, the puddle of black dog blood in front of the door gradually dried up under the sunlight. Beside the puddle of blood sat a red-haired youth wearing a sun hat. The youth's gaudy clothes and rat eyes made it obvious that he wasn't a good person. There was also a large sign beside him. On it were the words, "Unscrupulous Black Merchant." Lu Qianqian stood in front of the door with her hands on her hips and shouted angrily, "Are you going to leave or not? If not, I'm going to call the police." The red-haired youth's presence here affected her family's business too much. Her father wasn't in the shop, so as the owner's daughter, she had to take responsibility. "You want me to leave?" "Sure, but tell your boss to return that painting to me." "What painting? You've been yelling about that painting, but you can't tell me what it is." Lu Qianqian's face was filled with unconcealable anger. Lu Qianqian's pretty face was filled with unconcealable anger as she said, "I think you're deliberately looking for trouble." "Huh, so what if I'm purposely looking for trouble?" The red-haired youth stood up from the ground. He held the large sign with his right hand and looked greedily at Lu Qianqian. Licking his lips, the red-haired youth stretched out his hand. "Oh, I didn't notice. It's actually a beauty. Be more respectful." Su Yan knocked his hand away with her bag. The red-haired youth's gaze shifted. "It's actually two beauties. Why are you like this?" Lu Qianqian frowned anxiously. She had never encountered a situation like this before. In the past, her father was always in charge of the shop, so this kind of problem would never occur. Coincidentally, her father was going to someone's house to get some goods today, so she was forced to be the owner for a day. She didn't expect to encounter something like this. "What's wrong with me?" The red-haired youth's face was filled with a playful smile. "Just what do I have to do to leave? If the beauties don't leave, how can I leave?" The youth licked his lips and approached Su Yan and Lu Qianqian step by step. "Big brother will definitely let the two of you live comfortably." Unbearable obscenities shot out of the youth's mouth like cannonballs. His hand gradually reached out to the two women. Just then, crack. Yi Zichen tossed the red-haired youth's dislocated arm to the side, followed by a shrill howl. "Zichen!" Su Yan ran over joyfully. Yi Zichen patted her back as he felt the tremble of the beauty in his arms, then looked up at the sign of the pawn shop. "You are Lu Yong's daughter. You know my father?" Lu Qianqian was stunned. Yi Zichen nodded. Yi Zichen frowned as he looked at the dried black dog blood on the ground. Although this was the era of faith and technology, this kind of black dog blood splashing on people's faces was still a big taboo for these merchants. "What's the situation?" Lu Qianqian seemed to have found her pillar of support after Yi Zichen arrived. He let out a long sigh of relief, raised his hand, and pointed at the red-haired guy. "That's him. He insisted that we return the painting to him, but he never said what it was." "Then you're deliberately looking for trouble." Yi Zichen frowned. He couldn't even say what it was. What was he doing if not looking for trouble? Yi Zichen patted Su Yan's shoulder and told her to stand to the side, then walked towards the red-haired guy with squinted eyes. "Bro, that's not very nice of you, right? Grandson, you F***king." The red-haired guy looked up. When he saw Yi Zichen, his entire face turned bright red. "F***ck, Lousy was looking for you." Yi Zichen was stunned. Yi Zichen looked at the red-haired guy a few times. He had taught quite a few idiots like this a lesson. He couldn't even remember which one it was. "You were the one who bought that blue and white porcelain, right?" Yi Zichen instantly understood. "You're that brat who sold the fake blue and white porcelain? It's good enough that I didn't cause trouble for you. What did you come here for?" "F***ck you." The red-haired young man glared. The red-haired youth glared at him and said, "I'm not selling that blue and white porcelain. Give me back the painting inside." A black line floated up from Yi Zichen's forehead. "There are rules in the antique street. Money and goods are cleared. I've never heard of any merchant refunding money, even if you picked up a bargain. What's more, you only thought of coming here after a month. I think that your brain hasn't grown up yet, and you've gone crazy thinking about money. Stop fucking bullshitting. Are you giving it back or not?" Yi Zichen was speechless, then grabbed the red-haired guy's arm with a dead-fish expression. Crack, crack. Several crisp sounds rang out. "If I put it on you a few more times, then your arm will pretty much turn into a glass arm and will dislocate with a single touch. Do you want the painting or this arm?" "You just F***king wait." Yi Zichen grabbed his dislocated arm and ran away from the crowd. He shrugged toward the red-haired guy's back. then walked in front of Lu Qianqian. Seriously, your family is so big. Can't you hire a few thugs to open such a large pawn shop? My dad values honesty when doing business. He has never encountered something like this. He doesn't need thugs at all. Only those black-hearted merchants need thugs. Lu Qianqian pouted and snorted. Hearing that, Yi Zichen smiled helplessly. Then what's going on with that brat just now? He's a special case. Lu Qianqian paused for a moment. Then, she ran into the pawn shop and took out a bucket of water and a cloth. What are you doing? I'm cleaning this up. Otherwise, it's a hindrance to business. Lu Qianqian frowned, then splashed the water onto the black dog's blood. The congealed black dog's blood released a foul smell when it touched the water. Yi Zichen covered his mouth and nose, then pulled Lu Qianqian's hand. Don't do it. Let that grandson do it himself when he comes later. Zoom! Lu Qianqian blushed. Let go of me. Only then did Yi Zichen let go with a coy smile. Just when Lu Qianqian wanted to ask why, she saw a group of people suddenly appear outside the pawn shop. The leader was a red-haired guy, while a yellow-haired guy stood beside him. The entire team had colorful hair. It was clear that they were a very disciplined group. Even the killers were killed so neatly. It was very hard to find them. Boss, it's this King brat. The red-haired guy held his dislocated arm, then pointed at Yi Zichen and cursed. The yellow-haired guy beside him looked up bang. Who the CK are you calling brat? That's King Big Boss. The yellow-haired guy glared, then kicked the red-haired guy onto the ground. Yi Zichen was shocked when he saw the yellow-haired guy. Dragon Ball fanatic. He covered his face. It seemed like he had already predicted what would happen next. The yellow-haired guy's face was filled with a sacred and solemn expression as he walked towards Yi Zichen. Ta! He stood straight with his legs together. Salute. Chapter 169. New function activated Ta. After yellow hair, the 10 odd lackeys he brought along also copied him and saluted. Boss is boss. Yi Zichen's face darkened. This yellow hair's brain is a bit lacking. Why are all the lackeys by his side the same as well? Even if they don't find it embarrassing, Yi Zichen did. Yi Zichen quickly pulled down Yellow Hair's hand when he saw the surrounding passers-by pointing at him. Boss, what is it? Do you have some sort of mission for me? I'm ready at any time. Bang! Yi Zichen stomped his foot. Yellow Hair revealed an expression of being willing to sacrifice for the organization. King normal for lousy. Oh, Yellow Hair replied blankly, then sneaked a glance at the surrounding passers-by before moving closer to Yi Zichen's ear. Boss, I understand. We Namekians' information can't be leaked out, right? Yi Zichen was truly going to be defeated by this adorable brat. Yi Zichen didn't want to explain anything, so he merely nodded and treated it as if what Yellow Hair said was correct. You, come over. Blondie pointed at the dumbfounded redhead at the side and walked over while trembling with his arms drooping. Boss, hurry up and apologize to Big Boss. Yellow Hair kicked Red Hair's butt, causing him to stumble and nearly kneel onto the ground. Big Boss, I was wrong. I shouldn't have caused trouble for sister-in-law. Lu Qianqian blushed. Even Su Yin and Xia Kiki, who were on the side, were shocked. Sensing the change in the atmosphere, Yi Zichen kicked the red-haired guy. Don't shout randomly. Yellow Hair clearly felt the strange atmosphere as well, so he reached out to grab Red Hair's ear and pulled him up. Are you King stupid? Can't you see that there are two sis-in-law on the side? Big Boss and this sis-in-law's relationship is clearly a secret. Aren't you just making Big Boss look bad by saying it out so openly? Yellow Hair didn't try to hide his words at all. His voice was so loud that even the surrounding passers-by could hear it clearly. CK. Just who was making me look bad. What made him even more speechless was, Boss, I've taught this kid a lesson. In the future, we'll help you keep the secret in front of those two sisters-in-law. Creak. His teeth clenched together. CK off. While Yellow Hair's subordinates cleaned up the black dog blood, he stayed by Yi Zichen's side and fanned himself with a small fan. Boss, why hasn't there been any movement from the androids recently? Pooh. Yi Zichen, who was drinking water, spat it out. This kid was really persistent. When I transformed into Super Saiyan a while ago, I beat him up, and he didn't dare to show off anymore. Boss transformed. It's such a pity that I didn't see it with my own eyes. Blondie had a regretful look on his face as he said, "But leaving the androids here is a scourge. Why didn't you directly eliminate them? A harmonious society, a harmonious life. My wish is world peace. Boss's realm is truly not something we mortals can match." Yellow Hair flattered Yi Zichen exaggeratedly. Yi Zichen didn't want to say anything more about this brat's stupidity. "Boss, it's done. Let me see." Yellow Hair placed the fan into his subordinate's hands, then carefully inspected the shop. At this moment, Lu Qianqian and company also walked over and bit their lips. "Yi Zichen, thank you." At this moment, Red Hair also walked over with his head lowered and his arms drooped. "Big boss, stretch out your arm." Yi Zichen raised his arm. Crack! Yi Zichen put down Red Hair's arm, then stood up from the chair and swept his gaze across Yellow Hair and Red Hair. "Although you cleaned up the shop, but gulp." Red Hair gulped, while Yi Zichen turned his gaze towards Yellow Hair. "You have quite a bit of face on this antique street, right?" "It's all right. I can make a living." Yellow Hair scratched his head and smiled coyly. Yellow Hair scratched his head and smiled coyly. Yi Zichen nodded. "All right, then you guys can be free fighters for this pawn shop from now on." "No problem," Yellow Hair replied without thinking. However, Lu Qianqian, who was on the side, was stunned. "What? Why are you being so dumb?" Yi Zichen raised his hand and knocked Lu Qianqian's head. "There are all sorts of people on the antique street. If it's inconvenient for you guys to do it, then get them to do it. It doesn't even cost you money. So dumb." Yeah, we're doing it for free." Yellow Hair also agreed on the side. Slap! Yi Zichen slapped his head weakly. "This Yellow Hair, amazing." Yi Zichen. At this moment, Su Yin walked over from the side with a smile, while wearing a ring on her finger. Yi Zichen glanced towards Xia Kiki. "I didn't want to give it to Su. She stole it." Xia Kiki revealed a troubled expression. Yi Zichen gulped. This ring is so pretty." Su Yin lifted her hand and looked at it. The ring shone under the sunlight, but Yi Zichen could feel from her face that, "I'll buy it for you tomorrow." "Really?" Su Yin revealed a joyful expression. Yi Zichen couldn't help but nod like a chick pecking at grains when he thought about her weird look just now. "Definitely. That's more like it." Su Yin smiled, then returned the ring back to Xia Kiki. Ding dong. Marriage string received. "What's going on? Why did he get a marriage string?" Su Yin and Xia Kiki all had a string with him. Could it be Lu Qianqian? Yi Zichen glanced at Lu Qianqian, who was on the side. From the looks of it, it didn't seem like it was a matchmaking. Yi Zichen clicked on the treasure chest. Marriage string. Possessor. Han Xiangzi. Possessed. Immortal Lady He. Current affability level. 50. Stunned. Yi Zichen was completely stunned. Ding dong. Han Xiangzi. Great deity, great deity, great news. Yi Zichen received a message from Han Xiangzi. Since he even received their marriage string, he naturally knew what the good news he was referring to was. Congrats, congrats, the lovers are finally together. Great deity knows about it. Han Xiangzi was stunned. His relationship with a mortal lady he had just been confirmed. He didn't even know about the 8 immortals living with him. How can you hide it from this sovereign? I know you want to share your joy with me, but hurry up and accompany immortal Lady He. All right, celestial sovereign, thank you so much. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with immortal Lady He increased by 100. Current intimacy level, 200. Intimacy level leveled up to trusted. Ding dong. A heavenly court couple was formed. Intimacy level reached trusted. The lovers are finally together. You obtained 10 reputation. Reputation mode activated. You obtained reputation plate X1. It has been stored in the treasure chest. A new function has been activated. Yi Zichen quickly took out his phone to check what exactly this reputation was. However, at that moment, Blackie, whose face was swollen, floated down from the sky while crying. Chapter 170. Reputation Board of the 3 Realms Peach Garden. Singing and dancing. The Jade Emperor and the Queen Mother of the West sat on their high chairs and looked down at the fairies dancing. Zzz. The eyes of the Jade Emperor, who was seated on the throne, suddenly flashed. Leave. Without any warning, the Jade Emperor waved his hand and chased the fairies away from the peach garden. Queen Mother of the West, who was by his side, looked at him in confusion and asked, "What is it?" The Jade Emperor didn't say anything. He reached forward with his right hand, and an Emperor board fell from the sky. Reputation Board of the Three Realms. The 5 golden words were printed at the top of the Emperor board, and below it was the reputation ranking of the immortals. The first was Ba from the Pure Land of Ultimate Bliss, with a reputation of 127,456. The second was the Jade Emperor, with a reputation of 35,427. The third was the Great Sacred Emperor equaling heaven of the underworld, with a reputation of 27,968. The second was Shakyamuni Buddha of the Western Buddhist realm, with a reputation of 26,473. What is it? Why did you bring out the reputation board? The Queen Mother was confused, but the Jade Emperor didn't say anything and kept looking down. The 5th place on the board was just under 10,000 reputation. It was even more pitiful after that, until he saw the last place on the board. Only idealism, reputation 1. The Queen Mother of the West also noticed the person who was sitting at the end of the table. Summon Tai-Bai. 10 minutes later, Tai-Bai Jinxing rushed in with a horsetail whisk. Jade Emperor, you were looking for me? When he saw the reputation board of the 3 realms in the sky, he was shocked. The board's meaning was not small. The Jade Emperor brought it out and even sent him here. There's a new person on the reputation board of the 3 realms. Do you know? This, Tai-Bai Jinxing was startled and shook his head. I don't know. Does that mean it's not someone from the Heavenly Court? The Jade Emperor frowned even more. Below, Tai-Bai Jinxing hurriedly said, that might not be the case. Perhaps someone has entered the ranking and hasn't reported it yet. Go check. Yes. Tai-Bai Jinxing nodded slightly and flew away from the Immortality Peach Garden with his horsetail whisk in hand. After Tai-Bai left, Queen Mother of the West said softly, "What's strange about it?" Very strange. The Jade Emperor waved his hand and put away the reputation ranking of the 3 realms. What's so strange about it? The reputation leaderboard of the 3 realms hasn't had any newcomers in the past 1,000 years. Those on the leaderboard are usually the major powers of the heavenly courts, underworld, or the itinerant immortal lineage. Gaining prestige is even more difficult. Let's not talk about me, let's talk about you. We've lived for hundreds of thousands of years, but your prestige is only a few dozen. Just because no one has entered the list for 1,000 years doesn't mean that no one will. Is it worth it for you to be so serious? The Queen Mother frowned. The Jade Emperor shook his head and sighed. You don't understand. After 1,000 days, the prestige assembly of the 3 realms would begin again. He didn't enter the ranking earlier or later, but he just had to enter the ranking now. How could he not be worried? It would be fine if they were from the Heavenly Court, but if they were from the other 2 realms, you are too sensitive. The Queen Mother walked down from her chair, raised her hand, and lightly rubbed the Jade Emperor's shoulder. No matter who the newcomer is, his prestige is only at 1. He is ranked at the bottom of the leaderboard. As the Jade Emperor of the Heavenly Court, your prestige is only second to Ba. No matter who the newcomer is, he will not be able to affect the 3 realms meeting in 1,000 days. If he wants the positions of the 3 realms to be reshuffled, he must at least be in the top 10. You are worrying too much. Maybe he really is confused by the situation. After hearing what the Queen Mother of the West said, the Jade Emperor's nervousness was suddenly relieved. That's right. No matter what, he is still the Jade Emperor who is ranked second. The newcomer will not affect him at all. If you have the time, why don't you go and manage our Heavenly Court? What is it? The Jade Emperor was startled. Recently, other than the morning meetings, he hasn't been managing the Heavenly Court's matters. Our Heavenly Court suddenly had some weird food and drinks that have no effect on us, but are extremely delicious. Some of them are even harmful to the human body. Oh, who did it? It seems to be Yu Lao. The Jade Emperor suddenly laughed when he heard the name. That geezer always does weird things. Let's not worry about it. You said it yourself. Those food are not nutritious, but delicious. Let's just let them eat it. As for harming the human body, we are all immortals. As soon as he finished speaking, the Jade Emperor did not pay any more attention to this. His attention was once again focused on idealism. At the same time, the underworld, within a dark palace, the great sacred emperor equaling heaven also had a huge ranking board floating in front of him like the Jade Emperor. It was the reputation leaderboard of the three realms. More importantly, his gaze was also on only idealism, who was at the bottom of the list. A newcomer, only idealism. I wonder which realm's expert is he from? With a light laugh, he put away the leaderboard and disappeared into the darkness. Immortal region. The three sovereigns and 5 emperors, as well as the immortal region's 3 celestial sovereigns, were all sitting in an immortal palace. Fushi, who do you think this only idealism is? Swearin was wearing bee-skin clothes. Fushi shook his head. Father, I can't divine who this person is. Senior Swearin, Senior Fushi, I don't think who this only idealism is has much to do with us. Yao pursed his lips and smiled. If we're talking about trouble, it should be the Heavenly Court's Jade Emperor. The Heavenly Court hasn't changed in hundreds of thousands of years, and the underworld is eyeing the conference of the 3 realms. Yao is right, Shun nodded. Our immortal region has always been neutral and detached from the underworld and Heavenly Court. This doesn't have much of an impact on us. That's right. Let's not worry about nothing. Shino shook his head and put away the reputation leaderboard. Just who this only idealism is. Let him be. Our immortal region will continue to live freely like the immortal region. All right, then let's not worry about it. Right? Is there any news of the Yellow Emperor's reincarnation? Fushi nodded and looked towards the 3 celestial sovereigns. There's no news of the Yellow Emperor's reincarnation. The 3 celestial sovereigns shook their heads. Only Great Emperor Qingming's expression changed, but he still shook his head like the other 2 celestial sovereigns. Unfortunately, we need to increase our efforts. Although our immortal region is transcendent, our strength is especially weak. The Yellow Emperor's 9 reincarnations will definitely obtain the position of Immortal King. This is especially important to our immortal region. At this moment, Great Emperor Qingming raised his head, wanting to say something but hesitating. Qingming, do you have anything to say? No. Great Emperor Qingming shook his head. Then let's stop here. Fushi's gaze swept across the people in the immortal estate. Father and I will be traveling for a while. During this time, we will pay attention to the Yellow Emperor's reincarnation. The same goes for all of you. Find the Yellow Emperor as soon as possible and protect him. Understood? Shao. Chapter 171. Monkey Burp. The great sage staggered to his feet from where he'd been sitting. He grabbed Yizichen's shoulder and shook his head. I can't, brother. Old son, can't eat anymore. How can you do that? There's still a whole warehouse of goods waiting for the great sage to eat. How can you just say that you can't eat anymore? Yizichen raised his eyebrows playfully, then pressed the great sage onto the ground and handed him a piece of bread. Eat, as much as you can. Didn't you secretly leave a clone here to eat? I've already given you a chance to eat. Why are you still saying that you can't eat? Needless to say, he was speechless. When Blackie had asked him to go back to the supermarket, he had seen the great sage eating happily on the ground. Zhuge Kongming floated in midair. From Dahei's words, he had tried to run out and tell on the great sage several times, but he had been beaten up by him. If he hadn't eaten in the basement, he might not have been able to snitch on him. When he saw Yizichen arrive, the great sage acted as if he were a dead pig that wasn't afraid of boiling water. Yizichen wasn't angry. If he liked to eat, then let him eat to his heart's content. Burp. Half lying on the ground, the great sage burped again. Looking at the mountain of food bags and empty bottles in the supermarket, these were all his spoils of war. More importantly, this was only a small portion. Yizichen and Zhuge Kongming cleaned up the rest. Brother, old son, really can't eat anymore. Old son, know my mistake. I won't steal food anymore. Burp. The great sage burped nonstop. His belly was round and full, and he waved his hands nonstop. This time, not only could he not eat anymore, it was a little disgusting. You know you're wrong? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. The great sage quickly nodded. I truly know my wrongs. I, old son, definitely won't steal food from now on. Clean it up. Yi Zichen sat on the chair like a lord and crossed his legs. The great sage grabbed a handful of monkey fur from the back of his neck and immediately blew out a room full of monkeys. When he saw this, Yi Zichen was stunned. This was a scene that could only be seen on TV. With the help of the great sage's monkeys, the supermarket was soon clean and tidy again. There was only one thing. All the goods on the shelves were empty. Brother, the great sage kept burping as he strolled over. When he burped, they could even smell the faint smell of cola. What? He raised his eyebrows. To tell the truth, Yi Zichen got angry whenever he saw the great sage. If Zhuge Kongming wanted to eat, he should have told Zhuge Kongming. Instead, he had sent his doppelganger here to steal food. If Dahe had not come out to tell him, Zhuge Kongming might have starved to death on the roof. I, old son, have eaten my fill. The great sage grinned. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with the Monkey King increased by 200. Current intimacy level, 425. In the future, if anyone dares to bully you in the heavenly burp, I, old son, will definitely burp. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes speechlessly, then handed him a bottle of Coke, since he was unable to say anything for a long time. In the past, the great sage would have yelled and snatched the cola away. But this time, the great sage shook his hand as decisively as he could. No, I, old son, burp. I don't want to drink anymore. Yi Zichen told the great sage to do some stretching exercises after cooking, then took out his phone to look at the Heavenly Court's chat group. The ones chatting in the group were still the great deities, but what was different from before was they weren't gossiping in the group. They were talking about the method of obtaining cultivation experience. Some great deities smiled wryly and said that the number of followers in the mortal realm was decreasing, so cultivation experience could not be obtained quickly. Some great deities retorted that Yulao was selling things too expensive in the Heavenly Court. This geezer really started doing something in the Heavenly Court. Doesn't that mean the people in the Heavenly Court were all holding Nutrient Express in their hands and spicy gluten in their mouths? This scene was definitely hilarious. Yi Zichen lurked in the group for a while longer, but no red packets appeared. Thus, he left the group and went to find King Chujiang. King Chujiang, how is the fragment of Soul Pearly Yuan? I've already talked to him for several days, but this guy completely ignored me. At the Yama Palace in the underworld, King Chujiang's phone, who was listening to a tune, rang. He took a look at the message. TSK, a mere mortal. After Yi Zichen saved King Qingguang, King Chujiang went around White Impermanence and sent Oxhead and Horseface to the mortal realm to investigate. The result was Yi Zichen was indeed a mortal. Although Yi Zichen's identity was unknown, as one of the 10 Yama Kings, how could King Chujiang care about a mortal? Ignore him. He swiped the message to the right. If it wasn't because Yi Zichen was related to Erlang Shun in the Heavenly Court, he might have deleted Yi Zichen from his friend list. F***CK, what's up with this grandson? Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. This isn't right. According to King Chujiang and King Qingguang's behavior that day, they should have instantly replied when he sent them a message. Great Sage, my old son is here. The great sage truly ate too much, so he continuously walked in circles in the supermarket. Help me with something. Hey, say it. The great sage felt a bit bad after eating so many of Yi Zichen's treasures. If there was anything he could help with, then he naturally wouldn't refuse. King Chujiang promised me a while ago that he would give me the fragment of Soul Pearl Yuan in the underworld, but ever since I went to find him, he ignored me. I, old son, know that you need Soul Pearl Yuan, but there's only one piece in the underworld. I have 5 pieces in my hands. With that, Yi Zichen took out the 5 fragments of Soul Pearl Yuan. The fragments were in 5 different colors and were extremely eye-catching. Big brother Yi, what is this? Zhuge Kongming also walked over with his eyes wide open. Speaking of which, this little fellow was the same as Xia Kiki. He wasn't surprised that the great sage would appear in the modern realm at all. It was as if everything was natural from his perspective. This is a celestial artifact. Do you understand celestial artifact? No. Zhuge Kongming shook his head. The great sage beside him was also surprised. The great sage also had a look of surprise. Bro, you actually have 5 fragments of Soul Pearly Yuan. Your luck is truly heaven-defying. Great immortals of the celestial court had once deliberately searched for it, but no matter who it was, they all returned empty-handed. Great deities in the heavenly court had once intentionally searched for it, but no matter who it was, they all returned with nothing. When Yi Zichen looked at the broken phone, he felt sorry for it. In his heart, he swore to himself that he would definitely give the great sage a new one soon. King Chu Jiang of the underworld, right? I, old son, want to chat with him. With that, the great sage searched for King Chu Jiang from his contacts. Hey, are you there? Hurry up and reply to me, old Sunday ding-dong. King Chu Jiang's phone rang once again in the underworld palace. He frowned. Is this mortal done yet? King Chu Jiang cursed in annoyance, then picked up the phone. When he saw the flashing profile on it, bang. King Chu Jiang, who was sitting on the throne, instantly slid onto the floor with a look of terror, while the surrounding maids quickly floated him up. Chapter 172. A Nightmare of Hell. How is it? Did you reply? Yi Zichen moved over. The great sage scratched his face when he saw that there was no reply. How dare you ignore me, old son? In his opinion, King Chu Jiang should have instantly replied after receiving his message. It had been almost a minute, and there was still no reply. He had lost face in front of his brothers. King Chu Jiang, I, old son, am looking for you. King Chu Jiang, who had just stood up, trembled when he heard his phone vibrate. The memory of the monkey wreaking havoc in the netherworld was still vivid in his mind. Great sage. King Chu Jiang swallowed his saliva and replied carefully. Plus his phone vibrated. The great sage grinned. We're back. Damn. As expected, he was intentionally avoiding me. Yi Zichen cursed inwardly, then turned to the great sage. Ask him why he didn't reply to me. Swoosh. He tapped on the screen and sent a message over. Why are you ignoring my brother? Brother. King Chu Jiang, who was sitting in King Yama's palace, was stunned. Great sage brother. Canopy Marshal? Marshal Tian Peng did not look for little deity. Yi Zichen couldn't help but think highly of the great sage when he saw King Chu Jiang's reply. His attitude was really low. Back then, when King Chu Jiang was chatting with him, he even said, this king, it's not that idiot. Brother's son, am idealism, boom. King Chu Jiang's scalp went numb. Idealism. Wasn't he just a mortal? How could he be brothers with this monkey? Erlang Shun was also his brother. Monkey was also his brother. What the hell was this person doing? Cold sweat flowed down King Chu Jiang's forehead. King Chu Jiang did not reply to the great sage's message for a long time. So Yi Zichen also sent him a message. King Chu Jiang, I'm here, he replied within seconds. This efficiency, the reputation of the great sage, was truly extraordinary. Yi Zichen gave the great sage a look to signal him to ignore King Chu Jiang, then sent him another WeChat message. How's the fragment of Soul Pearly Yuan? Gulp. To be honest, King Chu Jiang didn't say it at all. This Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva isn't in hell for the time being. He's out traveling. Bullshit. The great sage suddenly snatched Yi Zichen's phone and cursed. Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva is going to guard the cycle of reincarnation in the underworld forever. You actually dared to lie to old son's bro. Old son, think you're asking for a beating. Oomph. Great sage, don't try to curry favor with me. Old Sunday. I'm just asking if you have the fragment of Soul Pearly Yuan or not. Great sage, please give me some time. I'll contact the 10 Yama Kings and ask Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva for it. Please don't be angry, great sage. Old son, will give you 3 days. If you don't humph, I wouldn't dare. Great sage, not bad. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and smiled after receiving the phone. Are the 10 Yama Kings of the underworld afraid of me? Old son? Back in the day, open the stubble. The great sage began to talk about his glorious achievements, but at the same time, in King Chujiang's Yama Palace. Go, find the other 9 Yama Kings as soon as possible. King Qingguang, King Chujiang, King Songdi, King Wuguan, King Yinluo, King Pingding, King Taishan, King Dushi, King Bianqing, and King Zhuanluan. The 10 Yama Kings gathered together. Everyone frowned, since they had all received the news from King Chujiang. This monkey is not to be messed with, King Yama gulped. King Yinluo swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Back then, when Sun Wukong wreaked havoc in the underworld, it was in his hall. Everyone knows that the great sage is not to be messed with, but even Bodhisattva might not hand over the fragment of Soul Pearl Yin. King Zhuanluan shook his head with a sigh. Everyone knew how precious the fragment of Soul Pearl Yin was. How could he hand it over so easily? The first thing we need to do is to calm that monkey down. Secondly, we cannot offend that master. King Qingguang frowned. King Qingguang frowned and said, that expert knows the monkey and Erlang Shun. His status is too mysterious. Big Brother's right. The other Yama Kings nodded. As for the fragment of Soul Pearl Yin, King Qingguang licked his lips and squinted his eyes. Bodhisattva is a benevolent person. Although the fragment is precious in our eyes, it doesn't mean that it is precious in Bodhisattva's eyes. If we tell Bodhisattva the reason, he might hand it over to us. Then I'll go talk to Bodhisattva. King Chujiang. Yes. King Chujiang stood up like a primary school student who heard his teacher call his name. There was no helping it. He was too nervous. He couldn't help it when he met the monkey. The moment he doesn't say anything, he might just come to the underworld and cause a ruckus. You go and calm the monkey down? Me? King Chujiang's face turned pale. Communicating with that fiend was like stuffing his head into a crocodile's mouth. That's you. What are you afraid of? You don't even have the guts as one of the 10 Yama Kings? King Qingguang frowned. There's also that master. Isn't white impermanence rather close to him? You guys go and give white impermanence some benefits later and get him to put in some good words for us in front of that master. Everyone nodded. All right, then let's do it. The great sage was unable to stop himself from speaking. From the underworld to the heavenly court, then to the western paradise to obtain scriptures and become a true Buddha. Yi Zichen had seen all of this in Journey to the West, so he didn't have much anticipation. On the other hand, Zhuge Kongming, who was on the side, moved over a small stool and listened attentively. 2 whole points. Only then did he stop. It was already dark outside. Yi Zichen glanced at the sky and said softly, Yi Zichen looked at the sky and said softly, Great sage, is your clone returning to your main body or staying here? I, old son, will go with you. Although Yi Zichen was reluctant to leave this secret place, he did feel a bit disgusted. Yi Zichen nodded, then patted Zhuge Kongming's shoulder. Older brother's going back. Stay here properly. No problem. Zhuge Kongming nodded with a smile, then reminded Yi Zichen to lock the door before leaving the supermarket. Welcome home, boss. Third Fatty Jean bowed towards the door in a pair of shorts, while his upper body was bare. This brat's boot-licking skills were definitely top-notch. Yi Zichen couldn't help but admire that. Yi Zichen even suspected that the reason he was able to become Great Emperor Qingming's disciple was because he got comfortable with boot-licking, which was why Great Emperor Qingming accepted him. Boss, are you going to take a shower or get ready to sleep? Sleep. Then, Third Fatty Jean suddenly blushed, then revealed a coy expression. Do you need me, Fatty, to sleep with you? My daisy is always blooming for boss. F** King, F** CK off. Yi Zichen kicked Third Fatty Jean to the side of the tea table in the living room. When Third Fatty Jean laid down on the tea table, he directly laid on top of it and shouted, Always ready. Yi Zichen cursed a few times, then rolled his eyes and returned to the bedroom. On the screen, White Impermanence had sent him a few messages, including a red packet. You received White Impermanence's red packet. Soul binding lock X1. Heaven and Earth merits X 50,000. Why did she send a gift without saying anything? Yi Zichen clicked open the yin-yang box. Soul binding lock. Able to pull out the soul from person's body. It is suitable for any soul. Chapter 173. Immortal heart of pure, yang, level up at the underworld. White impermanence swung her legs as she laid on the bed, while thinking about Yi Zichen. A mere mortal was able to communicate with people from the heavenly court and the underworld. Even the 10 Yama kings, who she thought to be unreachable, had to treat him with respect. Just who is he? White impermanence's thoughts ran wild. Buzz. Her phone vibrated. The screen showed that the red packet had been received. White impermanence turned around and laid on the bed, then sent a message. Yi Zichen. At that moment, Yi Zichen was completely confused by the 2 red packets. Forget about the heaven and earth merits. That thing should be something similar to cultivation experience. But what the hell was this soul binding lock? I'm here. What the hell did you send me? Yama King gave it to me, but they seemed to want to apologize to you through me. I thought about it, then gave it all to you. Yi Zichen was completely confused. These might be very good things, but they were all useless to Yi Zichen. There was no need to mention the heaven and earth merits. He didn't know what they could be used for other than increasing his position in the underworld. Soul binding lock. There was no need to mention that. He couldn't use this to hook someone's soul out, right? But no matter what, White Impermanence had good intentions. Thank you. You're welcome. Ding dong. Suddenly, another picture popped up on his phone. The girl in the picture was wearing a doo-doo. That figure was truly amazing. It's so boring tonight. Ugh. Yi Zichen nearly coughed up blood. What's wrong with White Impermanence? It is indeed boring, but I'm going to rest. Tell that Yama King to hurry up and give me the fragment of Soul Pearly Yuan. Otherwise, I'm fine, but the great sage will be very unhappy. The moment he sent the message, Yi Zichen quickly closed his chat with White Impermanence. Is this going to be a F*** King ghost story? And she's married. Doesn't that mean I've become the oldie next door? White Impermanence's expression darkened when she saw the message. Then, she looked at the beautiful figure in the bronze mirror. Could it be that he was not beautiful? Flirt demon. You don't even let ghosts go. Lu Jing laid beside Yi Zichen and twitched her mouth. Hey, be reasonable. I've never flirted with her. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes, then glanced at Lu Jing, who was lying beside him, while a naughty smile surfaced on his face. Throwing the phone aside, he grabbed Lu Jing's hands and pressed her down on the bed. What are you doing? Didn't you say that I won't even let ghosts go? How can I let such a cute little ghost girl go? As he spoke, Yi Zichen grinned and licked his lips. You don't be rash, young man. I'm a female ghost, a female ghost. What's wrong with a female ghost? Back then, didn't Xiao Qian and Ning Kaichen also have an unfinished relationship? Oh right. Did you use the immortal heart of pure yang? Lu Jing's words instantly caused Yi Zichen to stop playing around. That's right. I haven't used the immortal heart of pure yang yet. Yi Zichen flipped off Lu Jing's body, then took out his phone and opened WeChat View. Lu Qing let out a long sigh, then glared fiercely at Yi Zichen. However, for some reason, she felt a bit disappointed. Damn pervert. Lu Jing wrinkled her nose angrily, then walked over to his side to look at his phone. Immortal Heart of Pure Yang. Withdraw. Learn Lu Dongbin's Immortal Heart of Pure Yang. If you have a low-level Immortal Heart secret technique before, it will be revoked. What the hell? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. He didn't learn any Immortal Heart before, so he didn't think too much about it. Confirm. Ding dong. You learned Lu Dongbin's Immortal Heart of Pure Yang secret scripture. A notification suddenly appeared on top of the system notification. It displayed, False Spiritual Body, Experience 0/100. Current Immortal Heart Level 1. Experience gained, 1 per day. Materials required to level up Immortal Heart Level 2 are unknown. Isn't it a full set of secret scriptures? Why do I need materials to level up my Immortal Heart? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, then scrolled to Han Xiangzi to interrogate him. Han Xiangzi. Han Xiangzi of the 8 Immortal Manor was being intimate with a mortal lady. When he saw Yi Zichen's message, "Great deity is looking for me." Then hurry up and see what he's looking for you for. Yi Zichen was a huge matchmaker for Han Xiangzi and Immortal Lady He. If it wasn't for him, the two of them might not be able to break through that barrier, even after several thousand years. Han Xiangzi nodded towards Immortal Lady He, then looked at the message. "Great deity, wasn't the Immortal Heart you gave me a full set? Why do I need materials to level up the Immortal Heart?" Han Xiangzi smiled knowingly when he saw the message. "Great deity, you might not know this, but the secret scripture I gave you is indeed a full set. With this secret scripture, you don't need to comprehend a higher level Immortal Heart, but materials are needed to level up the Immortal Heart. My esteemed master also went through the same thing." Speechless, he understood. It was this set of Immortal Heart. He didn't need to go and comprehend a higher level Immortal Heart, but he still had to personally get the materials to level up the Immortal Heart. "All right, go and cuddle with Immortal Lady He. I'll get the materials for the Immortal Heart myself." Ding dong. The moment Yi Zichen sent the message, Han Xiangzi sent 4 red packets. Wedding candies? Yi Zichen was stunned, then clicked open the red packets. Thousand-Year Sandalwood X1. Illusionary Spirit Grass, Grade 2, X1. Jade Lingji, Grade 2, X1. Kunpeng Blood, 3 grams. Celestial Sovereign, I just happen to have a set of materials to level up the Immortal Heart to the 2nd level. I don't know if you need it or not. Just a token of my appreciation. Yi Zichen also received a notification the moment Han Xiangzi sent the message. Your Immortal Heart level can be leveled up. Would you like to level it up? Yes. Ding dong. False Spiritual Body, experience 0 out of 100. Current Immortal Heart level 2. Experience gained 2 per day. Materials required to level up the Immortal Heart to the 3rd level unknown. Thank you. All right. Hurry up and go and accompany Immortal Lady He. Goodbye. Although the level 2 Immortal Heart did not level up too much, Yi Zichen still felt happy. It was just that the 3 unknown levels were a bit annoying. If he could find out the materials for the 3rd level, then he might be able to scam some from the deities like the Great Sage to level up his Immortal Heart. Looking at the notification, the experience bar seems to be the amount of experience needed to level up. If I can level up my Immortal Heart to the 9th level, then Great Emperor Qingming is a mere fake sky immortal. Beat him to death. At that moment, in the Immortal Region, at the Qingming Immortal Manor, Great Emperor Qingming sat cross-legged on a praying mat. All of a sudden, he felt his nose itch a chew. Great Emperor Qingming rubbed his nose and frowned. It was impossible for someone of his level to get a cold. F***CK, which grandson is cursing lousy behind my back? Great Emperor Qingming twitched his mouth, then instantly calmed himself down. He formed a seal with his fingers once again. Chapter 174. Canopy Marshal did something wrong. Xiao Yume sat in the front passenger seat and looked at Yi Zichen, while continuously drawing circles on his arm with her finger. "I thought you forgot about me." Yi Zichen reached out to pinch her cheek while the traffic light was green. "How could that be? I've just been rather busy." "TSK, you'll be busy in school?" Those are all excuses. Xiao Yume was not satisfied with his explanation. Yi Zichen smiled wryly, then looked at the signal light before starting the car once again. "Boss." Yi Zichen brought Xiao Yume to the jewelry store that Zhu Siliang gave him. The moment he entered, Li Shuang quickly walked over. She, who had become a manager, had cut her long hair short, while radiating the experience of a strong woman in the city. Yi Zichen looked at the jewelry store. Although she had only taken over not long ago, the jewelry store was still well managed by her subordinates. "It's taken care of pretty well." Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled. Li Shuang immediately revealed a confident smile. "It's all right. Let's chat here. Let's go to the VIP room." "Okay, I'll tell them about it." "Sure." With that, Yi Zichen brought Xiao Yume to the VIP room. "What's with this jewelry store, and what's with that girl?" Xiao Yume frowned slightly. The size of this jewelry store was not much smaller than hers. More importantly, the female store manager, there was something wrong with her gaze. This store is the reason why I brought you over. You've been in the jewelry business, so I'm going to merge this jewelry store with you. To be honest, the jewelry store was not important to Yi Zichen. However, it would be a waste not to have such a large jewelry store. Yi Zichen was a layman when it came to management. It was fortunate that he had Xiao Yumei, a strong woman, to help him. As for that girl, she's the store manager of this store. Dong dong. The door to the VIP room was knocked. Xiao Yumei stopped what she was about to say, glared at Yi Zichen, then sat up straight. Come in. Li Shuang pushed the door open. The moment she entered, she felt a gaze on her. She looked up and saw that it was the woman who came with her boss. Li Shuang ignored Xiao Yumei's gaze and walked in front of Yi Zichen. Boss, take a seat. Yi Zichen pointed at the chair in front of him and indicated for her to sit down. Li Shuang sat down. Let me introduce you. This is Xiao Yumei. Hello. Li Shuang slightly nodded. Xiao Yumei also smiled without batting an eyelid. The atmosphere was weird. Yi Zichen smiled stiffly, then coughed. It's like this. This jewelry store will be taken over by her in the future. In the future, Li Shuang, you can work with her. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen felt a pain in his waist. He tilted his head and glanced at Xiao Yumei, only to see that she was still maintaining a faint smile as she looked at Li Shuang. Since you're qualified to be the store manager of this jewelry store, you must have some outstanding qualities. Tell me about your management philosophy. Thus, Li Shuang and Xiao Yumei started to chat, leaving Yi Zichen alone. Yi Zichen, who sat on the side, took out his phone and looked at the progress of the immortal heart of Pure Yang. False Spirit, EXP 2/100, current immortal heart tier 2. EXP gained, 2 per day. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. It seems like I really need more than a month to advance to the spiritual body level. That's a bit too slow. I wonder if I'll be beaten to death if the people in the outside world know about this. Only needing 50 days to advance from the false spirit body to the spiritual body level. That was already a monster level figure for the rogue cultivators in the outside world. Since he had nothing to do, Yi Zichen once again snuck into the Heavenly Court's WeChat group to spy on them. Canopy Marshal. Do you guys know God of Thunder? Know what? A row of stunned emojis. Mother of Lightning. Know what? Same row of stunned emojis. Erlang Shun. These people who only finish their sentences are so annoying. Immortality Peach Fairy. Watching from the front. Canopy Marshal. A new person has appeared on the reputation leaderboard of the 3 realms. I wonder who that master is. Erlang Shun. How did you know? Don't say random things. Canopy Marshal. How could I say random things? Erlang Shun. You're also someone on the leaderboard. Wouldn't you know when you call it out? Reputation leaderboard of the 3 realms. They were talking about some high-level topic. Yi Zichen was unable to suppress the curiosity in his heart and replied, What's the reputation leaderboard of the 3 realms? Immortality Peach Fairy. Welcome, Great Deity. Great Deity, can you tell Yu Lao to sell the snacks at a lower price? God of Thunder. Great Deity is here. Mother of Lightning. Great Deity, Yu Lao said that he got his goods from you. Can I be his agent as well? As long as you are willing, I can. A row of shy emojis followed. God of Thunder. I'm still here. The group was in chaos. Yi Zichen took a look and saw that most of them were retorting about Yu Lao selling his goods at a high price. I wonder how this geezer is selling his goods to be able to incite such a large amount of public anger. I might need more agents in the future. I will discuss the price with Yu Lao. But before that, Canopy Marshal, just what is the reputation leaderboard of the 3 realms? He had already gained reputation a few days ago. He had even activated reputation mode. However, he didn't pay too much attention to it, but when he saw the Canopy Marshal and company mention it, he instantly became interested. Canopy Marshal, Sky Sovereign, could it be that you aren't someone on the leaderboard? Why do I feel like he's mocking me through this cold screen? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes and smiled. Are you going to tell me or not? Sky Sovereign, please calm down. The Canopy Marshal smiled coyly and explained. The reputation leaderboard of the 3 realms is filled with people who are extremely prestigious in the 3 realms. After they get on the leaderboard, they can participate in the 3 realms conference and vote for the leader of the three realms. What's the use of this? Celestial Sovereign, this is very useful. Every single vote on the reputation leaderboard of the three realms is extremely important. It is very possible that this one vote can cause a huge change in the upper echelons of the three realms. At that moment, Erlang Shun also ran back. Erlang Shun, F*CK, there really is a newbie. But why isn't his name on the leaderboard? Erlang Shun. Oh wow, bro, when did you get here? Why is this Erlang Shun like an idiot? Why did I choose to become sworn brothers with this guy back then? I've been here for a while. Yi Zichen replied. Then the Canopy Marshal suddenly replied mysteriously. I'll tell you guys a secret. The Jade Emperor is currently sending Tai by Jinxing to investigate this person, as if he wants to confirm who he is. It's fine if he's from our heavenly court, but if he's from the other two realms. Z's. The moment the message was sent, Tai by Jinxing suddenly appeared in the group before anyone else could reply. Chapter 175. Red Envelope Group Hua. The immortals in the heavenly court who were looking at their phones immediately went into an uproar. As one of the four sages of the North Pole, the Canopy Marshal had been famous in the heavenly court for a long time. Even though he had gone to the Buddhist realm for a while, his prestige in the heavenly court was not to be underestimated. What's more, he was someone on the reputation leaderboard of the three realms. Tai by Jinxing's punishment in front of the public could be said to have ruined the Canopy Marshal's reputation. Tai by Jinxing really has great prestige. The Canopy Marshal appeared, and from the looks of it, he was going to tear them apart. Erlang Shun, forcefully watching. Old pig, I support you. Rip. Immortality Peach Fairy. I'll weekly watch you guys tear each other apart. God of Thunder. I won't say anything else. I'm just lurking around. The immortals looked as if they were watching a good show. At this moment, Yulao. Melon seeds, peanuts, mineral water, spicy sticks, cola, and chestnut pancakes are on sale in the front row. During this period, all purchases are 10% off. If you want to buy, hurry up. Pooh! Yu Lao's appearance instantly broke the tense atmosphere. Yi Zichen tried his best not to laugh out loud, while the deities also started to shout about wanting to buy the goods. However, the Canopy Marshal maintained his dominance. Tai by Jinxing, why don't you tell me what rules I, old pig, have broken? Canopy Marshal, please calm down. This is a special time. Very? You really want to make fun of me, old pig. If my brother monkey was here, would you dare to punish him? Canopy Marshal, please watch your words. From the looks of it, they're really going to fight. Yi Zichen's expression tensed up, while the deities in the group also seemed to sense the intense smell of gunpowder, causing them to all quiet down. Hee. You wouldn't dare, right? Are you afraid of me? My Monkey King must have given you a headache when he wreaked havoc in the heavenly palace. All right, I, old pig, have worked hard for the heavenly court for hundreds of thousands of years. Back then, when the Jade Emperor banished me to the mortal world, I still did not resist. Do you really think that I, old pig, am someone who can be bullied by anyone? He was really angry. They were already starting to dig up old scores. It seemed like there was no way to be kind. In this kind of atmosphere, even Erlang Shun, this kind of great hero, didn't say anything. The deities in the group all silently looked at the screen, waiting for Tai by Jinxing's reply. Canopy Marshal. Oomph. So you know I'm Canopy Marshal. Yes, I am Marshal Tian Peng, one of the four saints of the North Pole. Canopy Marshal, what do you want? What do you think? I don't want to stay in this lousy group anymore. The moment the message came out, Yi Zichen immediately flipped to the group member list. This was no joke. Canopy Marshal really left the group. The deities seemed to be thinking the same thing as Yi Zichen. They looked around, and when they saw that Tian Peng had left the group, they all exploded. God of Thunder, he really retreated. Mother of Lightning, Canopy Marshal isn't joking. Pagoda-bearing Heavenly Kingly, looks like he's really angry. Erlang Shun, they have a temper. I didn't expect that it wasn't just monkeys who had a temper. What a great four Arctic sages. Tai by Jinxing. Erlang Shun, it seems like you also want to be punished? The group was quiet again. Did Tai by Jinxing eat the wrong medicine today? In the past, he had always been a good person in the heavenly court. So why did he suddenly want to tear him apart, just because of a slight disagreement? Erlang Shun. Tai Bai Jinxing. Are you trying to scare me? Don't bother me. If you piss me off, I'll leave the group. Tai Bai Jinxing. There's no need for you to retreat. F***CK. He was really busy. Quickly scroll to the members of the group. Erlang Shun gone. The group instantly became terrifyingly quiet. Yi Zichen subconsciously clicked on his moments. The latest message was sent by Erlang Shun. Tai Bai Jinxing. You truly have a great authority. Alright, Lousy won't join this group. Below was the Canopy Marshal's comment. Canopy Marshal, you got kicked? Erlang Shun, yeah, this shitty place. I don't want to stay even if I don't kick it. Canopy Marshal, come over and drink with me? Erlang Shun, sure. Two of the pillars of the Heavenly Court left the group. This is seriously Tai Bai Jinxing. This geezer ate the wrong medicine, right? Yi Zichen licked his lips, then suddenly thought of an idea. If the Heavenly Court doesn't want it, I want it. Ding dong. You invited Erlang Shun and Canopy Marshal to join the group. Group name changed to Red Packet Server. Erlang Shun, bro, what is it? Canopy Marshal. Sky Sovereign, this is... Actually, I've also been unhappy with that Tai Bai Jinxing for a long time. Let's not stay in the Heavenly Court group anymore. For now on, our group will be the second Heavenly Court chat group. It's provided to fellow immortals of the Heavenly Court to exchange their experiences and send red packets. If there are any people who have left the group, you can pull them in here. However, the prerequisite is that if they're still in the Heavenly Court group, you can't pull them in. Zhu Beiji, no problem. God Erlang, no problem. That's it then. You two were chatting as if you were going to drink, so I won't disturb you. I'll send you a bottle of good wine later. Canopy Marshal, that's great. Then I'll wait for Sky Sovereign's red packet. Erlang Shun, send more. Yi Zichen smiled idiotically after exiting the red packet server. From the moment that Tai Bai Jinxing set a trap for him, he was very annoyed. Now, two more generals of the Heavenly Court had left the group. This was definitely a good thing for him. Damn it. I'll let you see who's in charge of the Heavenly Court in the future. Zichen, what are you smiling like an idiot for? Suddenly, a murmur sounded in his ears. Yi Zichen turned around. Xiao Yumei was staring at him curiously, while Li Shuang, who was in front of him, was no longer in the VIP room. You two finished chatting? Uh-huh, Xiao Yumei nodded. This girl studied management in Switzerland, so she definitely has a unique understanding of management. She's a talent. It's good that she was able to help you. Yi Zichen caressed Xiao Yumei's hair, causing her to smile with a playful look in her eyes. Are you sure you want her to help me, and not ask me to help you take care of the new little sister? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. You're overthinking it. There's nothing going on between me and that girl. I just coincidentally got her to be the store manager that day. I felt that she had some ability, so I introduced her to you to help you reduce your burden. I don't want you to be so tired. Really? I swear to God. Yi Zichen said seriously. All right, I believe you. Xiao Yumei kissed Yi Zichen's cheek. At that moment, a knock sounded out from the VIP room. Come in. Magia. I already told you everything. Magia. Yi Zichen didn't think that their relationship had already improved to such a level while he was looking at the group chat. Since you're done, then let's go. Yi Zichen stood up from the sofa, then followed behind her with a look of confusion. He raised his eyebrows. Where are you two going? Of course we're busy. Then I go and find your little sisters. With that, Xiao Yumei smiled sweetly, then left the VIP room with Li Shuang. Yi Zichen stood on the spot alone. At that moment, he felt like an abandoned child. Dingling, dingling. At that moment, Yi Zichen's phone beeped. Yi Zichen looked at the memo, then frowned and slapped his thigh. Chapter 176. Su Qihu's test. It was the birthday of Old Master Su of the Su family. The old man kept a low profile and did not mention anything about the birthday banquet. Even so, there were still many officials, businessmen, and politicians who came to congratulate him. Inside the courtyard, Su Qilong was receiving guests. This was something he had no other choice. He couldn't let Su Qihu greet these birthday guests with a sour expression. In the end, so many people came. Su Qian sat on the sofa in the villa. He shook his head and sighed as he looked at the guests outside. He didn't like this kind of scene. In his opinion, it was enough for the group of people in his family to get together. It's all because of you, big brother. If it were me, I would have chased all of them away. Su Qihu frowned. He also didn't like this kind of scene. If it wasn't for Su Qilong stopping him, he really would have chased this group of people away. Elder Su, who was sitting on the sofa, suddenly raised his head and looked at him as if he was looking at a retard. Why are you looking at me like that? How'd I give birth to such an idiotic son like you? Are the people who came here all ordinary people? You drove them away. Do you think my Su family doesn't have enough enemies? So what? Su Qihu snorted in disdain. Those who came are just people who want to curry favor with us. Or perhaps you think that our Su family needs to interact with this group of people. Elder Su glanced at him again. He no longer wanted to talk about the ways of the world with his son. All right, I talked to you a few days ago. Don't interfere with Lil Yi and Su Yan's relationship anymore, okay? Xiaoya will also be attending the birthday banquet later. Don't make things difficult for him. Don't worry. Surprisingly, Su Qihu did not look down on Yi Zichen. Even Elder Su was taken aback by this scene. He knew his son the best. He was a stubborn man. It was difficult for him to change his mind once he had made up his mind. She was not used to him suddenly being so easy to talk to. You thought it through? Humph. Su Qihu snorted coldly. His thick, ink-like eyebrows slightly raised, and a playful smile surfaced on his determined face. It's not that easy for me to acknowledge him. Noticing this smile, Elder Su suddenly froze for a moment and exclaimed, You didn't do anything to Xiaoya, did you? Dad, am I that kind of person? Su Qihu smiled helplessly and said, But you're right, I did make some moves. Isn't that brat coming to your birthday banquet? He can come in if he wants, but he'll have to pass the checkpoint I've set for him. You didn't order your soldiers to stop him, did you? How did you know? Su Qihu paused, then said, I have an informant beside me. Su Qian was quite helpless against his son's stupidity. The eldest son was so effective. Why was it that the second son was? Anyone can guess what you're thinking. Elder Su rolled his eyes speechlessly. But your soldiers are going to suffer. What do you mean? Do you think I'm no match for that kid? Su Qihu's expression was filled with anger. My soldiers are all top-notch fighters, and the ones I left outside the door are all elites from the previous tournament. What's the use? Elder Su was really going to be defeated by Su Qihu. Indeed, his soldiers were all champions of fighting. But was Yi Zichen a normal person? Just don't get angry if Lil Yi beats up your soldiers. Impossible. Su Qihu smiled confidently. If he can really beat up my soldiers, then so what if I acknowledge him as my son-in-law? You mean it? Elder Su raised his eyebrows with a smile. I mean it. Su Qihu replied in a sonorous voice. Master, just stop here. Yi Zichen hurried towards the Su family's courtyard after getting off the taxi. If it wasn't for the memo reminding him, he would have forgotten to attend Elder Su's birthday banquet as he promised Su Yan. That's why he hurried over after getting a gourd of monkey wine from the great sage. He looked at the time and saw that he still had time. Mission target has appeared. At that moment, two men in plain clothes who stood outside the mansion spoke into their Bluetooth earpieces. He's here. Su Qihu, who was within the mansion, pursed his lips and smiled. This brat, Yi Zichen, was too cocky. If his dad was protecting him, he would have taught him a lesson a long time ago. He had to use this chance to rub Yi Zichen down. Elder Su couldn't help but sigh when he saw Su Qihu's proud look. I hope that he won't cry too badly. Stop. The moment Yi Zichen reached the entrance of the mansion, the two men in plain clothes walked in front of him and stopped him. Yi Zichen looked up at the two of them. I've never seen them before. But then he thought about it. Someone of old man Su's status would definitely be strictly guarded during his birthday banquet. Thinking that, Yi Zichen nodded towards the two with a smile, then took out his phone to call Su Yan. Yi Zichen, are you here yet? I'm here, but there are two big bro blocking me from going in. It's better for you to come out and pick me up. All right, wait for me. Yi Zichen hung up the phone, then nodded towards the two men with a smile once again. Not long later, Su Yan, who was wearing a floral dress, ran out of the mansion. Zichen. Su Yan ran beside Yi Zichen with a smile, then pulled his hand and walked towards the entrance of the mansion. I'm sorry, Yan. He can't go in. Why? Didn't you stop him because you don't know his identity? Now, I'll personally bring him in, okay? Su Yin revealed a doubtful expression. The two plain-clothed men shook their heads and smiled. "You can't go in. It's fine if you want to enter, but you'll have to beat us to the ground first." "Uncle Huang, can you stop joking? I know you want to tease me." "Okay, he is my boyfriend." These two twin brothers were Su Chihu's bodyguards. She had known these two uncles since she was young and knew how powerful they were. How was it possible to beat the two of them to the ground? "Yin, don't make things difficult for your Uncle Huang. This is your father's order." The two plain-clothed men smiled bitterly, causing Su Yin to freeze. "My dad," Yi Zichen, who was on the side, also heard most of it. He looked up and smiled towards the mansion's entrance. "What is this? Do we have to go through so many trials just to attend the birthday banquet? I'm not one you. I got noticed by this brat." Su Chihu was slightly stunned as he looked at the monitor. However, Yi Zichen's words caused him to clench his teeth in anger. "Seriously, my father-in-law. He's so cruel to his son-in-law. Didn't I tell you before that I'm a very vengeful person? If you keep treating me like this, then I won't take care of you when you're old." "Never mind. Who told this father-in-law to be so childish? They'll just play with him for a while." Yi Zichen moved his face away from the monitor and patted Su Yan's hand. "Wait for me there." With that, Yi Zichen looked towards the two plain-clothed men with a smile. "Come." At the same time, Su Chihu, whose face was completely green with anger, ordered. Chapter 177. Lin Ru's broken-mouthed the battle between the combat elite and Yi Zichen was about to begin. Yi Zichen hooked his finger towards the two uncles in plain clothes with a relaxed expression. The two uncles also charged over after receiving orders from their superiors. Tiger Fist. They were known for their boldness and bravery. The fist brushed past Yi Zichen's cheek, causing him to feel a sharp pain. It was only then that Yi Zichen stopped fooling around. The two uncles in front of him were not ordinary. Especially since the two of them had been working together for many years, their tacit understanding between each other was even better. "You do have some skill." Within the mansion, Su Chihu raised his eyebrows and snorted. He had thought that Yi Zichen wouldn't even last 10 rounds against his guards. Little Yi doesn't take it seriously at all. Look, he's just starting to get his spirits up. Elder Su chuckled, and the two of them looked at the monitor again. Swoosh! Yi Zichen rolled to the side to dodge the two's pincer attack, then stretched lazily. "What's the matter? Why are you so serious? You should be my father-in-law, soldiers. I will be his son-in-law in the future. I will bear a grudge against you for treating me like this." He did not speak. The two uncles chased after him as if they didn't hear Yi Zichen's words. He raised his wrist and looked at the time. Elder Su's birthday banquet was about to begin. "Forget it. I'm not playing with you guys anymore." With that, Yi Zichen's eyes narrowed, and he dashed past the two uncles like a ghost. Crack! Crack! Two crisp sounds rang out. When Yi Zichen stopped and looked at the two uncles with a smile, their right arms had already fallen. More importantly, Yi Zichen's hands were still around their necks. "It's over." Su Chihu, who was looking at the surveillance camera, stood up in a daze. He almost didn't see the scene clearly just now. "I already told you that your men are no match for little Yi, but you still don't believe me." Old Master Su shook his head and stood up with the help of the sofa. "Don't forget what you said to me back then." As he slowly walked out of the mansion, a hint of unwillingness flashed across Su Chihu's eyes. "Let him in." The words from the Bluetooth earpiece caused their expressions to change. Yi Zichen also put down his hand with a smile and took a step back. "We can enter now. Please." The two of them gestured for Yi Zichen to enter the courtyard. Yi Zichen took another step forward, causing the two of them to take a step back as if they were facing a great enemy. "What are you doing? I'm going to reattach your arms." Crack! Crack! With another two crisp sounds, Yi Zichen reconnected their arms, then waved towards Su Yin and walked into the mansion. If this little brother were to march in, he would definitely be a good fighter. After the two of them left, the two uncles chuckled. "Yes, he's made to be a general." All of the guests in the courtyard noticed the fight between Yi Zichen and Su Chihu's guards. At first, they thought that it was a troublemaker, But when they saw this young man swaggering in, and the Su family's young miss was even holding his arm, the guests were dumbfounded. Uncle Su. The moment Yi entered, he saw Su Qilong look at him with a smile, while Su Yun, who was continuously winking at him, stood beside him. Lil Yi, good skills. Su Qilong raised his thumb towards Yi Zichen. He knew about his little brother's two guards. Fighting elites. Both of them were huge fighters that could fight against 100 people. However, they were unable to fight back at all against Yi Zichen. Actually, I don't want to fight back, but my father-in-law always wants to test me, so I have to make him happy, right? AI, it's hard to be a good son-in-law. Yi Zichen shook his head and sighed. Su Qilong couldn't help but smile. You brat. Lil Yi. At the same time, Old Man Su also walked over with a chuckle, while Yi Zichen also chuckled. That's right. Yi Zichen also smiled. Old Man Su, why did you come out personally? I got really bored inside, so I came out to welcome you. With that, Old Man Su raised his eyebrows. Lil, what gift did you prepare for this old man? Hey. Yi Zichen scratched his head, then handed over the green gourd in his hand. This brat doesn't have any good treasures. The only thing I can give old man is this gourd of monkey wine. The surrounding guests were all shocked when they saw the gourd. Giving him a gourd of wine? That's too low. Everyone that came to attend the birthday banquet would give at least 6 digits. Even so, the Su family didn't care about it. However, this brat actually gave him a gourd of wine. So stingy. Plenty of people silently looked down on him, but Old Man Su's face was filled with a smile. All right. It's still Lil Ye's gift that matches my intentions. Old Man Su was bribed by a gourd of wine. Yi Zichen stomped his feet in frustration. If they knew that Old Man Su loved wine, then they would have just bought wine. F***CK. The gifts they gave were enough to buy a truckload of wine. Su Qilong reached out his hand and wrapped it around Yi Zichen's shoulder like an old friend, then walked towards the mansion. At that moment, Su, a baby's voice sounded out from the entrance of the mansion. Yi Zichen and Su Yin turned around and saw Lin Ru run over with a giggle. Little Ru. Su Yin also smiled in pleasant surprise. After chatting for a bit, Lin Ru looked towards Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen. Lin Ru glanced at Yi Zichen, who was beside her, and a playful smile surfaced on her delicate face. Yi Zichen could tell what she wanted to do from her expression. Su, let me tell you. Lin Ru grabbed Su Yan's arm and said in a daze. As she spoke, she raised her eyebrows provocatively at Yi Zichen. It was as if he was saying, if you beg me, I won't tell you the secret. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes, then spoke first. When I was shopping with Xia Kiki that day, Lin Ru saw us. All right. Lin Ru wrinkled her nose. She was just trying to scare him. She didn't think that he would really dare to say it. Since that was the case, there was no reason for her to help him. Su, I'm telling you, he didn't just go shopping with that girl that day. They were adding fuel to the fire. Lin Ru was so dramatic that she almost said Yi Zichen and Xia Kiki were having sex on the streets. Yi Zichen's expression darkened. Just say it. Can't you pick a place? Old Man Su, Su Qilong, and Su Yun are all here. However, Su Yin didn't think too much about it. She merely glared at Yi Zichen and did not do anything else. Su, you don't have a fever, right? He's already like this. Su Yan's reaction truly shocked Lin Ru. She raised her hand and touched Su Yan's head. You don't have a fever. Lil Ru, you don't understand the relationship between the three of us. With that, Su Yan suddenly felt like she said something wrong. Elder Su Qilong, and Su Yin all looked at Su Yin and Yi Zichen in shock. The world of young people. Elder Su suddenly let out a long sigh, while Su Qilong swept his gaze over the two of them with a strange expression. Su Yun even patted Yi Zichen's shoulder with a smile. Chapter 178. I finally found you. Lin Ru also panicked a little. Just now, she was so preoccupied with her anger that she didn't notice the elders beside her. Su Yin glared at her fiercely, and Lin Ru hurriedly changed the topic. Happy birthday, Grandpa Su. Only now did you remember this old man? Old Man Su's eyes were filled with playfulness as he swept his gaze across Yi Zichen and Su Yin. Feeling that gaze, the two of them quickly lowered their heads. Lin Ru's eyes darted around mischievously as she tried to think of a way to remedy the situation. Just then, Elder Su, Brother Su. A hearty laughter came from the entrance of the villa. Su Qilong and Old Su turned their heads at the same time. Han Bin. Su Qilong was stunned. Their Su family had a good relationship with the Lin family, but Su Qilong and Lin Hanbin were not on good terms. When he saw Lin Ru just now, Su Qilong thought it was Lin Wei who came to congratulate him. He didn't expect it to be him. Lin Hanbin. At that moment, Yi Zichen also turned around and saw that Lin Hanbin was also looking in his direction, while Lin Lin stood beside him. Yi Zichen, my grandpa and Grandpa Su's relationship is very good. My second uncle has grasped this point. You should just accept it. Lin Ru pursed her lips. In fact, she was quite disgusted by her second uncle's actions. Begging for help, begging for help. What was important was the word beg. From the beginning to the end, he couldn't lower himself and had been trying to use his connections to smooth things over. He really didn't know whether his grandfather's life was more important or his face was more important. At this time, Lin Hanbin also followed Su Qilong over. Elder Su. Behind Lin Hanbin were two men who were working together to move a strange rock from the patterns. It could be seen that it was the word longevity. This is a strange stone that I found overseas. Its face represents longevity. I just happened to give it to Elder Su. I wish you happiness as vast as the East Sea and longevity as long as the South Mountain. Hanbin, thank you. He raised his hand and patted Lin Hanbin's shoulder. Although he was aware of the competitive relationship between his eldest son and Lin Hanbin, at his age, he had already accepted it. Young people, let them do whatever they want. Lin Hanbin signaled the two men behind him with his eyes, and the two men moved the wondrous stone away. At this moment, Elder Su chuckled. How is old Lin? The old man is getting old, and his health is getting worse every year. Lin Hanbin's expression was gloomy as he shook his head and sighed. It's the same when people get old. Elder Su comforted him softly. Lin Hanbin nodded noncommittally. At this moment, he seemed to inadvertently glance to the side. Mr. Yi, you're here too. Lin Hanbin bowed with a shocked expression. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. Her acting skills were worthy of an Oscar. Director Lin, you really have good eyesight. I've been standing beside Elder Su the whole time, but you couldn't see me. Your eyes are really focused. He sneered mercilessly. Lin Hanbin's expression immediately stiffened. Elder Su also noticed the strange atmosphere between the two of them and couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. You know him? Sigh. Lin Hanbin let out a long sigh and said, I won't hide it from you. Actually, I've begged Mr. Yi several times to treat my family's old man, but Mr. Yi has always been unwilling to do so. Elder Su knew how amazing Yi Zichen was. Lin Hanbin asking him for help was not something particularly strange. But why didn't Lily help? The Yi Zichen he knew wasn't the type of person to leave someone in danger to die. Lil Yi. Elder Su glanced at Yi Zichen. Director Lin's act of being wronged is truly great, but there's something wrong with your use of the word beg. Yi Zichen snickered, then swept his gaze over the Lin family's father and son. Have you begged me before? Mr. Yi, what do you mean by that? Stop pretending. Yi Zichen dragged his tone and smiled playfully. It seems like you really want me to say your so-called beg, then I'll satisfy you. Yi Zichen said Lin Hanbin's beg without any exaggeration. In this process, he also saved Lin Lin from being ignorant. I know, you came here to ask me to help, right? Then I'll tell you again, it's impossible. Yi Zichen smiled playfully, then held Su Yan's hand and bowed towards Elder Su. Old man Su, I'm going in. I haven't eaten yet, so I'll eat with you. With that, the two of them left. Su Yun and Lin Ru, the young man, also followed after a few glances. Elder Su, Lin Hanbin originally wanted to ask Elder Su to speak up for him, but when he looked up, he saw Elder Su's extremely gloomy face. Hanbin, beg someone to treat you, beg someone to treat you. There's something wrong with your request. This old man can't help you, so deal with it yourself. Yi Zichen grabbed a piece of cake and stuffed it into his mouth, then heard Lin Ru snort unhappily on the side. Yi Zichen, young lady Lin, I'm someone who wants face as well. Look at that second uncle of yours. Is he doing something wrong? Yi Zichen mumbled, then grabbed a cup of water from the waiter's tray and drank it before speaking again. He's too arrogant. I hate people like that the most. But my grandpa, Lin Ru, frowned, while Su Yan also begged on the side. Zichen, Uncle Lin's actions are indeed inappropriate, but Grandpa Lin is innocent. Just go and take a look for me. Lil Ru is begging you as well. Uh-huh. Lin Ru nodded vigorously. When Yi Zichen saw their expressions, he said helplessly. Seeing the two girls' expressions, Yi Zichen said helplessly, All right, if old man Lin really can't hold on anymore, then I will go and help. But before that, I won't do anything. How do you know when my grandpa can't hold on anymore? Don't worry about so much. Just tell me your grandpa's name. Wasn't it easy to know how long old man Lin could live? He just had to get the people from the underworld to investigate. However, before that, he had to properly teach this Lin Hanbin a lesson. The old man's birthday feast began. Old man Su's opening words were truly straightforward, giving off the feeling of an old cadre. Eat well, drink well, eat well. Thus, the birthday feast began. Lin Hanbin's expression was slightly awkward throughout the entire process of the birthday banquet. He had wanted to find Yi Zichen several times, but in the end, he couldn't bring himself to do so. From his point of view, face was more important. Lil, Yi, you seem to like this cake a lot? Elder Su chuckled as he held the wine gourd. Yi Zichen nodded. At that moment, Yi Zichen, who was stuffing cake in his mouth, looked behind him in confusion. Elder Su and Su Yan also turned around. A man wearing bee-skin clothes and straw sandals slowly walked in from the entrance of the mansion. What was strange was that no one tried to stop him. Or rather, wherever he went, the people nearby all froze in place. Su Yan, I finally found you. Chapter 179. An old friend. The man in bee-skin clothes walked very slowly, and there was a faint white light in his eyes. His long hair was coiled up high. It was as if time had stopped for everyone in the courtyard. They all stood motionlessly in the same position. Su Yan. The man's voice was ancient and profound. He walked in front of Su Yan and looked at her with a warm smile. Who are you? I'm Fushi. What Fushi? I don't know you. Su Yan frowned deeply. Fushi was stunned for a moment, then came to a realization. That's right, you really shouldn't have known me in this life. What are you talking about? I don't understand at all. Don't be nervous, I won't harm you. I'm just returning what you gave me back then. As soon as he finished speaking, a flame suddenly appeared in Fushi's palm. The flame was greenish-white, just like the phosphorescence that could only be seen in graveyards. When she saw the flame, Su Yan inexplicably calmed down. She could feel that the flame was very close to her, as if it was a part of her. Looks like you can feel it. Fushi chuckled softly as he pushed the flame closer to the space between her eyebrows. This is the memory of you following him into reincarnation. I will seal it in your sea of consciousness. On your 21st birthday, the seal will automatically open. At that time, you will remember everything. What him? What reincarnation? I don't understand. I don't want it. This man had appeared out of nowhere and said a bunch of inexplicable things. He also had to seal this ball of fire in her sea of consciousness. What was all this? Su Yan struggled with all her might, but to her dismay, she couldn't move at all. It was as if someone had cast a spell on her. She could only watch helplessly as the ball of fire approached her eyebrows. Just then, enough. I don't care who you are. Don't you dare hurt her. Yi Zichen's body was surrounded by silver gold light, while his eyes also gradually turned a faint gold color. Fushi was stunned for a moment, his face filled with shock. It's you. You look very familiar. A hint of reminiscence appeared in Yi Zichen's eyes. Then his head started to hurt intensely. Fragments of memories flashed through his sea of consciousness. In the blink of an eye, he turned around and looked at Su Yan with bright eyes. Little 9, Su Yan, just who am I? The headache caused Yi Zichen's entire face to turn pale. His body continuously trembled as he slowly squatted on the ground. Fushi raised an eyebrow and glanced at him. He didn't care about this kid's weirdness. Without waiting for an explanation, he raised the flame in his hand and placed it between Su Yan's eyebrows without hesitation. A flame imprint flashed between her eyebrows, and she slowly closed her eyes. I'm looking forward to our reunion, Fushi muttered to himself, then looked towards Yi Zichen once again. Old friend, we meet again. You know me? Yi Zichen's voice was hoarse. He frowned as he looked at the man dressed in beast skin like an ancient person. What did you do to Su Yan? Fushi smiled and shook his head. You've always protected her, no matter how many lifetimes it has been. Could it be that you still can't repay the debt you owe her? With that, Fushi reached out towards Yi Zichen. Old friend, sorry. I'm going to take you away. You can take away my old son's brother just because you want to. A mirage of a staff suddenly descended from the sky. Fushi's pupils contracted, and he quickly retreated. When he looked over, he saw a muscular man in a black singlet standing proudly with a golden staff in his hand. Great Sage Son, you know my old son's name, so hurry up and leave. The Monkey King widened his eyes and swept his gaze across the courtyard, spatial pressure. What a good technique. You're someone from the immortal region. The Monkey King squinted his eyes at the man in beast skin. I, old son, don't care who you are in the three realms. Hurry up and leave, otherwise, old son's Jingu Bang won't let you get away with it. A ferocious glint appeared. Great Sage Sun stared at Fushi with his fiery eyes of truth. At that moment, another man in beast skin descended from the sky. Swearin. Fushi, did you find Su Yan? Father. Fushi nodded. Su Yan is that girl. Swearin looked in the direction Fushi pointed. When he saw the Monkey King, his pupils contracted. Great Sage Sun, why is someone from the heavenly court here? He called for help. Great Sage Sun sneered. I, old son, have never been afraid of numbers. Come, dong. The Rui Jingu Bang stabbed into the ground. Great Sage Sun also quickly transformed into his battle armor. Great Sage Sun, please calm down. Fushi smiled bitterly. Swearin frowned. Why would someone from the heavenly court target his reincarnated woman? Could it be that they found his reincarnation? Father, look at the youth behind the great sage. His expression changed. No wonder I bumped into Xiao Yoli, who blocked his tribulation for 3 lives. I was wondering why they would all appear here. So, Xiao Yoli is also here? This time, it was Fushi's turn to be shocked. Someone from the 3 lives of reincarnation also appeared. It's not a good thing for people to continuously appear to block the tribulation. It seems like his 9th life won't be so easy. Fushi frowned and pursed his lips. Then wouldn't it be better to just directly bring him back to the immortal region? This old man doesn't believe that anyone can bring this life's tribulation to the immortal region. Swearin snorted coldly. The great sage felt a bit annoyed when he heard the two of them mutter. Hey, you two, are you going to fight or not? Great sage, do you know who is behind you? Fushi suddenly spoke up. I, old son, don't care who he is. I, old son, only know that he's my bro. The great sage squinted his eyes and snorted at Fushi and Swearin. You want to take my bro away? No way. Monkey, don't go too far. What? You want to fight? Wild monkey. Swearin took a step forward. The great sage also took a step forward with his Rui Jingu Bang. Stop. Fushi pulled the two of them away, then shook his head as he looked at Yi Zichen and Su Yan, who were lying on the ground. Father, let's go. I thought about it just now. The 9 lives of reincarnation are destined. If he can walk through it, then so be it. If he can't, then it means that our immortal region doesn't have the fate of an immortal king. Never mind, let him be. But Swearin still revealed a worried expression. Fushi shook his head with a smile. You said it yourself just now. Xiao Yuli is also here. It's very possible that they have already made contact. With Su Shi and Xiao Yuli here, there shouldn't be any problems. But are you sure that this monkey doesn't have any other intentions? Chapter 180. Fight the landlord. What kind of relationship? It was naturally a pure brotherly relationship. It was naturally a pure brotherly relationship. Great Sage Sun rolled his eyes at Fushi as if he was looking at a retard. What do you think our relationship is? Gay friends? Fushi thought evilly in his heart. Of course, he definitely wouldn't say it out loud. Ignoring whether or not this monkey could understand, if he did, then it wouldn't be good. I can tell that Great Sage has a close relationship with him. Then we'll leave him here. Great Sage, please take good care of him. I don't need you to say that. Great Sage bared his teeth as he held the Jingu Bang. Fushi nodded slightly, then waved his right hand. I will erase all of the memories of the people here. Great Sage, please leave this place as well to prevent people from getting suspicious. Old son, don't trust you. Sun Wukong wasn't stupid. What if these two kidnap his bro after he leaves? I ate so much delicious food from him, so I have to protect his safety. Then I'll leave with father first. But I hope that Great Sage won't zoom. Great Sage Sun, who had been standing on the spot, turned into a tiny fly and buzzed around in the air. Hurry up and leave. Nodding slightly, Fushi and Swirenshi stepped into the void and vanished into the world. Silence shattered. The guests in the courtyard continued to drink with each other, as if nothing had happened. At that moment, Su Yin also returned to her senses and saw Yi Zichen, who was lying on the ground. Zichen, Elder Su quickly squatted down. Only then did Yi Zichen stand up and rub his head. Why does my head hurt so much? Zichen, what happened? Su Yin looked at him worriedly. Yi Zichen shook his head, then stood up with her support. Why am I lying on the ground? Wasn't I eating cake just now? I don't know. Su Yin looked at him worriedly. Su Yin clearly didn't remember what happened just now. But Yi Zichen looked towards the mansion's entrance in confusion. He felt like someone had appeared there. Did you guys feel like someone was here just now? No. Haven't there been just the three of us here? Su Yin blinked. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows, then grabbed a piece of cake from the table beside him and stuffed it into his mouth. Delicious! The Great Sage, who had transformed into a fly, circled around in the air a few times. When he was sure that Fushi and Swirenshi had left, he cast a heavy glance at them and flew away. After stealing 2 bottles of red wine from the birthday feast, Yi Zichen ran to a corner of the courtyard and opened WeChat. In the red packet server, when he entered the group, he found that there was another member in the group. Yulao, red wine scanned and sent. Erlang Shun received your red packet. Brother, is this the good wine you gave us? After receiving the red packet, Erlang Shun replied in the WeChat group. Yes, red wine for you. But why did Yulao come over too? I'm leaving the group. Yulao suddenly popped up and said, I don't know what got into Tai-Bai jinxing, but he scolded me as well. This old man also wants face, and coincidentally, Canopy Marshall told me about leaving the group, so I left in a fit of anger. Then this broken group should retreat. Canopy Marshall also agreed in the group. Tai-Bai jinxing has gotten a bit cocky after being the Jade Emperor's favorite for so long. He really thinks that he's above everyone else. Old pig, just don't want to talk to him. How about I beat him to death with a rake? It seems like Tai-Bai jinxing really caused Canopy Marshall to lose face in the group. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said something like that. But that's good. That group will screw him over sooner or later, and then pull all the deities into the red packet server. You guys enjoy your wine. I still have things to do. Wait. At that moment, Erlang Shun, who was in the group, suddenly sent a message. At Erlang Shun's manor in the heavenly court, he was too poor. As a superior great immortal in the heaven, he had an extremely large mansion, and there wasn't even a servant or a female immortal in it. The howling celestial dog, who was so hungry that it stuck out its tongue, squatted beside him. The Canopy Marshal and Yu Lao sat beside the stone table, while the 2 bottles of red wine and a gourd of immortal wine that Yi Zichen sent over were placed on the table. The immortal wine was brought over by the Canopy Marshal. The reason for this was mainly because he was poor. He remembered that Yi Zichen had told him that he would tell him the way to earn money. With his current situation, he had to get the way to earn money. Otherwise, eat dog food this month, eat dog food the next month. Bro, the way to earn money that you told me back then. Yi Zichen was momentarily stunned when he saw the message. Then he pursed his lips and smiled. This way to earn money. About this, bro, if you treat me as a bro, then tell me. I'm about to starve to death. Erlang Shin wasn't exaggerating at all. Why didn't he have any servants or fairies in his manor? He didn't have money to hire them. Didn't he have to pay for hiring servants and fairies? The bit of salary he received from the heavenly court wasn't even enough to pay off his debt. Then I'll teach you. Wait a moment. After sending the message, Yi Zichen called Su Yun over. Yi Zi, you still dare to find me? You still haven't explained to me about my little sister. Su Yun walked over with a fierce look. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. Stop pretending with me. Don't pretend with me. Can you find me a deck of cards? Poker cards? Su Yun was stunned for a moment, then raised his eyebrows. What do you want poker cards for? They're useful. Go and find some for me. Sure, wait a moment. Not long later, Su Yun walked over with 2 boxes of poker cards and chucked them into Yi Zichen's hands. I only found these 2, but what do you want this for? Su Yun revealed a curious expression. Yi Zichen pushed him to the side. Hurry up and flirt with your sister. Hurry up and flirt with your sister. I see that there are quite a few good-looking rich girls at the banquet. Aren't they all your type? I'm more interested in you than those rich girls. Hearing that, Yi Zichen felt a chill down his spine. I'm not gay. Hurry up and flirt with your sister. As soon as he finished speaking, he shoved and kicked Su Yun away. Before he left, Su Yun shouted, "You're not a good person." Before he left, he heard Su Yun shout, "Is this how you treat your brother-in-law?" Yi Zichen looked around. No one. Scan. Send. Erlang Shun, who sat beside the stone table, gripped his phone tightly. His phone vibrated. He instinctively opened WeChat and snatched the red packet. Zoom. The 2 boxes of poker cards instantly appeared in Erlang Shun's hands. Celestial Sovereign Senate? Canopy Marshal raised his eyebrows. Erlang Shun nodded, then placed the poker cards onto the table. Bro, what did you send me? A great treasure to earn money. Erlang Shun frantically opened the poker cards when he saw the message. 54 poker cards instantly fell onto the stone table. He picked them up one by one and looked at them a few times with curiosity in his eyes. How do I earn money with this? Bro, are you sure that this can earn money? Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled. Chapter 181. Apply for a patent. The card game that had swept the world had ascended to the heavenly court. Yi Zichen used an entire hour to explain to Erlang Shun how to play Fight the Landlord through Baidu and the language he organized. After learning Landlord, Erlang Shun pondered for a long time. Brother, this doesn't seem to be a profitable business. Back then, Yi Zichen had bragged to him about how he could definitely make a comeback. But after hearing it, it seemed like the chances of winning were the same. It all depended on luck. But recently, Erlang Shun's luck was really bad. Yi Zichen was also momentarily stunned. It seems like Erlang Shun was right. It really isn't some sort of guaranteed profit. You don't understand. I taught you first, which means that you know how to play this game better than others. You can win before they completely learn it. That seems to be the case. Erlang Shun rubbed his head and looked at Canopy Marshal and Yulao. Do Di is mainly played by 3 people. Coincidentally, there are 3 people here. Why not try it out with the 2 of them? When Yi Zichen taught Landlord to Erlang Shun, he suddenly noticed a problem. He didn't get any benefits. Back then, he wanted to use Fight the Landlord and Mahjong to get some benefits. His brows furrowed as he pondered how he could get some benefits. Ding dong. Would you like to apply for a patent for Do Diju? Applying for a patent will require 100,000 cultivation experience. A message suddenly popped up on the screen. Yes, no. Holy SH asterisk T. I can even apply for a patent. What the F asterisk CK? Fortunately, he had done a few big deals before and had sufficient cultivation experience. Otherwise, he would not have been able to apply for the patent. He narrowed his eyes. Yes, applying for a patent was definitely useful. Although 100,000 cultivation experience was a lot, it wasn't like Yi Zichen couldn't afford it. Ding dong. You have successfully applied for the patent of Do Diju and received a copy of the patent. When Yi Zichen clicked on the treasure chest, he saw a golden piece of paper in the first row. Do Diju patent. The possessor is idealism. Holders of this patent can withdraw 10% of the profits from the Heavenly Court's Do Diju game. Ouch. Just a moment ago, he was still worried that he didn't get any benefits, but now, he directly helped him get it. However, a hint of doubt surfaced in his heart. What the hell was with this system? Why was the system always giving notifications about intimacy increasing, favorability increasing, and all sorts of other things? Could it be that there was someone controlling the system? Or was it because of his phone? He scratched his face. He had encountered too many strange things recently. One or two more wouldn't make a difference. Anyway, as long as he could get some benefits, that would be great. Trade Street. Fushi and Swarinchi's outfits inevitably attracted the attention of many people. Many passers-by took out their phones to take pictures, but the two of them were not worried at all. They would not leave a memory in the minds of these mortals. Fushi, have you really decided to leave your old friend here? Swerin was still a little worried. The itinerant immortal lineage did have many perfected sky immortal experts, but none of them had stepped into the immortal king realm. They knew very well that not just anyone could become a god king. In the entire three realms, only the Jade Emperor, great sacred emperor equaling heavens, and Shakyamuni had managed to do so. Even a victorious fighting Buddha was only a half-step immortal king. From this, one could see how difficult it was to break through to the immortal king realm. 1,000 years ago, their old friend chose to reincarnate. Although there were some personal reasons, it was mostly for the sake of the immortal region's rise and fall. 9 lives of reincarnation depended on this one. This life was extremely important to the itinerant immortal region. Stay here. Fushi didn't hesitate at all. Can you tell me the reason? The reason is very simple. He didn't have our help in his previous lives. Although there were many tribulations, there were people who were born to face the tribulations and block them for him. Although the 9 lives of reincarnation are dangerous, I believe that he is blessed by the heavens. That's simple. Swerin frowned. There were indeed people who were born to face the tribulations in the previous lives, but that didn't mean there would be people in this life. What else can we do? Fushi smiled. Father, everything has its own destiny. You can't force it. I still feel that we should bring him back to the immortal region. Although we will offend that monkey, the immortal region is not afraid of him. Coincidentally, that monkey should be leaving soon. Let's go back. This isn't a matter of being afraid of the great sage. Fushi smiled. Suddenly, he stopped in his tracks and looked at the woman in front of him with a burning gaze. Father, you really don't have to worry. How is it? Is there anything you don't understand? Xiao Yumei looked at Li Shuang with a smile. The more she looked at this girl, the more she liked her. Whether it was in terms of philosophy or methods, this girl was to her liking. Li Shuang was the same. Being able to meet a leader who shared the same thoughts as her was a great fortune. The only thing that made her unhappy was this girl was prettier than her. It's about time. If there's anything you don't understand, you can ask Meijia for guidance in the future. That's good too. Then I'll give you half a day off. Come find me here tomorrow. Xiao Yumei chuckled. At this moment, Li Shuang suddenly tugged at her. Meijia, that man over there seems to be looking at you. Xiao Yumei was already used to men looking at her. She raised her head, wanting to see what that man looked like. However, when she saw Fushi, she was stunned. Where did this weirdo come from? Was he filming? But this seemed to be a commercial street, not a film base. However, what made her astonished was that Fushi actually walked towards her. Hello. Fushi chuckled. Xiao Yumei subconsciously glanced at her surroundings. There were no machines. He wasn't filming? Then why would there be someone dressed like this? Hello. Fushi nodded towards him in a friendly manner. A bracelet made of a beast's tooth suddenly appeared in his hand. Meeting is fate. I'll give this bone bracelet to you. Who knows? It might save your life in the future. Fushi placed it in Xiao Yumei's hand without any explanation. He nodded towards her and left again. Xiao Yumei was dazed. When she regained her senses, she looked at the bone bracelet in her hand in astonishment. Where did it come from? However, she couldn't figure out the origin of this bone bracelet no matter how hard she racked her brain. Xiao Yumei involuntarily put the bone bracelet on her wrist and waved it in front of her eyes. It looked pretty good. Meijia. Then I'll be going back. I'll report here on time tomorrow morning. Li Shuang also chuckled at this moment. Xiao Yumei nodded her head and said, Don't worry. Okay, report here tomorrow. Fushi and Swerin weaved through the crowd. Swerin glanced back at Xiao Yumei and said, Don't worry. Why did you give her the bone bracelet? It's not like you don't know what that means. Father, do you know who she is? Fushi suddenly smiled mysteriously. Suerin raised his eyebrows. How would I know? She is. Fushi's lips moved slightly. Suerin's expression suddenly changed. Are you serious? Chapter 182. What day in the blink of an eye? 2 days had passed. Yi Zichen sat on the sofa in Xiao Yumei's office and flipped through the recent financial reports. Can you understand it? At this moment, Xiao Yumei brought over a glass of water and sat down beside him. Yi Zichen wrapped his arm around her waist and chucked the financial report onto the tea table. I don't understand, but I still have to take a look. I'll give you some pressure to see if you have embezzled public funds. Then I'll tell you plainly. I embezzled public funds. Hearing that, Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Then I will punish you. He raised his hand and pressed her down on the sofa, but his palm hurt. Yi Zichen lifted Xiao Yumei's wrist and saw the bone bracelet on it. Why are you still wearing this thing? Xiao Yumei took the opportunity to sit up from the sofa and shook her arms a few times. Don't you think it's beautiful? The bones on the bone chain were obviously old, and there was a faint luster flickering on them. If he had the fiery eyes of truth, then Yi Zichen would have been able to determine just what was so special about the bone bracelet. But now, he could tell that the bone bracelet was rather beautiful. Where did it come from? Xiao Yumei pursed her lips. I'm not too sure either. Question mark. Yi Zichen was stunned. How could she not know the origins of her own bone bracelet? When I was talking to Li Shuang about work that day, it suddenly appeared in my hands. This was way too supernatural. Dong dong. Enter. Xiao Yumei left Yi Zichen's embrace and stood up from the sofa. Li Shuang walked in from outside the door. She was wearing an office lady outfit, which made her look even more valiant. Li Shuang nodded towards Yi Zichen, who was sitting on the sofa. Sister Mei, there's a gentleman outside who wants to see you. Yi Zichen, who sat on the sofa, raised his eyebrows. Sir. Xiao Yumei also revealed an indescribable expression as she spoke. Are you sure a gentleman wants to see me? She asked herself if there had been any man pursuing her recently. It was strange for a man to suddenly ask for her. Yes, let's go take a look. Xiao Yumei turned around and walked out of the office, while Yi Zichen followed behind her. Damn it, it'd be best if he wasn't trying to poach his woman. Standing at a counter in the jewelry store was a man who was about 1.8 meters tall and dressed in casual clothes. Beside him was a bodyguard with a stern expression. There were a few necklaces placed on the counter in front of him. He was carefully selecting them, and the price of the necklaces was more than 1 million. Sir, our President Xiao is here. Li Shuang softly said to the man. Xiao Yumei also looked at the man with interest. He turned around. Xiao Yumei was dumbfounded. Why are you here? The man's lips curled into a warm smile as he looked at Xiao Yumei. The corners of his lips curled up slightly as he walked towards her with an expensive necklace in his hand. Yumei, this necklace really suits you. He walked towards the stiffened Xiao Yumei and was about to put the necklace on her neck with familiarity. Just as the man's hand was about to wrap around Xiao Yumei's neck, Yi Zichen reached out and grabbed his arm. You're the first person to put a necklace on my woman in front of me. Seeing this, the stern man behind the man merely raised his eyebrows, but did not react at all. Yumei, you have a boyfriend? The man did not take Yi Zichen seriously. He merely tilted his head and smiled toward Xiao Yumei, while his tone carried a hint of disappointment. At that moment, Xiao Yumei also returned to her senses, but her expression was still filled with unconcealable shock. Why did you come back? Yi Zichen frowned when he heard the trembling voice. It seemed like the two of them had a very deep past. Yi Zichen expressed his jealousy. Yi Zichen pushed the man back, then wrapped his arm around Xiao Yumei's stiff waist. You're very rude. I'm talking to you. I heard you. Then nodded non-committally and threw the necklace in his hand onto the ground. Sir, don't be nervous. I'm buying this necklace. Huda smiled, then took out a card from his pocket and handed it to the clerk beside him. Wrap up all of the necklaces that I've seen and give them to this lady. Boss. The clerk indicated towards Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows with a smile. Whoosh, since someone is buying, Of course we have to sell. However, buying my necklace and giving it to my woman, you're very thoughtful. Yizichin squinted his eyes like a poisonous snake's as he looked at him. Hearing that, Huada was slightly stunned, then smiled. This jewelry store is yours? Then, he turned around and looked toward Xiao Yumei. You can't be following him because of this, right? You're not that kind of woman in my impression. If it's true, then I'll buy all of the businesses under him. Xiao Yumei remained silent. Yizichin licked his lips and clicked his tongue. Rich person, you actually said that you're going to buy all of the businesses under me. Rich man, you actually dare to say that you want to buy all of my companies. Aren't you afraid that the wind will cut your tongue? The moment Yizichin said that, Huada also raised his eyebrows with a smile. Oh, could it be that you have a lot of assets under you? But I don't seem to know someone like you. The meaning behind Huada's words was that Yizichin wasn't someone in his circle, or that he was mocking Yizichin for overestimating himself. Yizichin didn't waste too much time on that. He merely raised his eyebrows and smiled sinisterly. I don't want to bullshit with someone like you. I'll give you 3 seconds to disappear from my sight. Otherwise, Huada revealed a playful smile. Crack. Yizichin smiled arrogantly and stretched his body. I'll make you roll out. With that, Yizichin's right hand clawed toward Huada. However, at that very moment, the cold man, who was standing a few meters away, moved. Sir, if you take another step forward, then I will judge you as an enemy. Yizichin suddenly stood between the two of them. Only when he got closer did Yizichin notice the man's terrifying eyes. Deathly gray. A deathly gray without any signs of life. A gaze so cold that it sent chills down one's spine. He has killed before. A lot. Yizichin slowly took a step back, while Huada, who stood behind the man, revealed a mocking smile. Provocation. Very good. Yizichin snuck a glance at the man in front of them and smiled. What should I call you? You. It was still an emotionless reply. Yizichin could feel that his heart was dead from his indifferent tone. You. I feel like you aren't that kind of unreasonable person. Your master was flirting with my woman just now. That has nothing to do with me. I'm only protecting his safety. You guys don't seem to have a purely employer-employee relationship. Yizichin squinted his eyes and smiled. At that moment, a ripple surfaced in his lifeless eyes. A chance. Yizichin, who stood on the spot, stomped down and cursed Huada. Chapter 183. Spiritual Body. False Spiritual Body. Huada's expression changed the moment he saw Yizichin's fist. You. At that moment, you also returned to his senses and grabbed towards Yizichin's arm with a fierce gaze. However, it was too late. Bang. Yizichin punched Huada's nose, causing 2 red lines to flow down his nostrils. When Yizichin looked at Huada's sunken nose, it seemed like it was broken by Yizichin as well. Die! A fierce light surfaced in Yu's eyes. No one had been able to touch the people he wanted to protect in front of him. Yizichin actually hit his employer in front of him. Yu's hands glowed with a faint light as he smashed towards Yizichin's head. Yizichin's pupils contracted. Yizichin quickly activated Unbreakable Body and raised his arms up high. A huge force passed through his arms. Crack. The faint cracking sound was extremely ear-piercing. Yizichin frowned, then retracted his arms. Whoosh. At the same time, the security guards also surrounded Yu and Huada. Go do whatever you should be doing. Don't worry about it. Yizichin squinted his eyes and roared. The security guard were stunned for a moment. Although they did not understand, they did not dare to move forward recklessly. As soon as he finished speaking, he raised his head and looked at you again. At the same time, the other person also saw it. Spiritual Body. False Spiritual Body. Both of them spoke up at the same time. When they heard each other's words, their pupils contracted once again. F***ck lousy is screwed this time. Yizichin cursed in his heart. What the F***ck is going on? Why do I keep bumping into people from that place recently? Kill him, kill him. Huada, who was lying on the ground with blood flowing down his nose, shouted hysterically. At the same time, Yizichin also gulped. F***ck. Lousy can't beat him. Yet, follow the rules. You merely glanced at Yizichin plainly. then helped Huoda up from the ground and walked out of the store while ignoring Huoda's crazed roars. Within the VIP room of the jewelry store, Yi Zichen sat on the sofa with his arms by his side with a frown. Zichen, how about we go to the hospital? Before that, shouldn't you tell me just what kind of person that Huoda is? At the mention of Huoda, faint reminiscence appeared in Xiao Yumei's eyes once again. He pursued me in high school. In the 3rd year of high school, he suddenly told me that he was going to leave for a period of time. He even promised me that he would come back for me. But in the blink of an eye, almost 10 years have passed. I thought he wouldn't come back. First love. However, it seemed like that kid was no ordinary canon, especially when he saw Xiao Yumei's eyes. Yumei, don't tell me you still have him in your heart. What are you talking about? Anger surfaced on Xiao Yumei's face as she said, I already have you. How can I still have him in my heart? Then just now I was just a little surprised just now, so I didn't get over it. If he comes again, I'll definitely reject him. Only then did Yi Zichen smile in satisfaction. I knew you the best. He smiled and nodded, but at this moment, Yu's appearance suddenly appeared in his mind, especially the words he said before he left. Rules? What rules does he want to talk about? Xiao Yumei said worriedly when she saw Yi Zichen's troubled expression. Zichen, did I cause trouble for you? How could that be? There's nothing that can cause trouble in my eyes. Yi Zichen smiled arrogantly, then raised his hand to touch Xiao Yumei's hair. Gasp. Xiao Yumei gasped, then looked down and saw that Yi Zichen's arm had already swollen up. Zichen, let's go to the hospital. No need. Yi Zichen shook his head, then endured the piercing pain in his arm and opened the treasure shop on WeChat. It was fortunate that the treasure shop had the most common healing pills, but the price was terrifyingly high. A single level 1 healing pill cost 100 cultivation experience. This was even more expensive than that geezer old Lord Taishan. However, the current Yi Zichen was no longer the Yi Zichen of the past. He had several 100,000 cultivation experience on hand, so he didn't lack 100. He bought one, then took it out from the treasure chest and popped it into his mouth. As for the jade bottle that contained the pill, he just chucked it to the side. Not long later, a warm current flowed through his meridians, causing his aching and swollen arms to return to normal. Just how strong is that person? Yi Zichen muttered in his heart. Yi Zichen only felt that Yu wasn't simple when he fought him just now. With his false spiritual body and the support of unbreakable body, he wouldn't lose even if he met a martial artist. However, the other party had easily dispelled his attack and even shattered the bones in his arms. He was certain that the other party was definitely a spiritual body, but what level was the spiritual body at? Zichen. Xiao Yumei's expression carried a hint of worry, but it was even more unconcealable shock. She saw it just now. She saw it all. She saw a pill suddenly appear in Yi Zichen's hand, and when he popped it into his mouth, the injuries on his arms instantly turned for the better. You saw it? Yi Zichen was able to guess most of it from Xiao Yumei's expression. These secrets would be exposed sooner or later, especially in front of his group of women. Thinking about it, he felt that he wouldn't be able to hide it anymore, so he decided to just tell her everything. Yumei, let me tell you something. You can't tell anyone else. All right, say it. Xiao Yumei nodded with a serious expression. A good 10-odd minutes later, Yi Zichen told her about his situation. As for Xiao Yumei, Yi Zichen was instantly stunned. What do you want to say? You, deity, how is this possible? Xiao Yumei yelled. You don't believe it, right? But it's all true. Yi Zichen shrugged helplessly. In comparison, Xiao Yumei's reaction was actually more acceptable to Yi Zichen. When he thought about Xia Keek's reaction, he could only say that the child was very insensitive. Xiao Yumei looked at him in shock. After a long time, let me calm down. She was an atheist through and through. She had never believed in ghosts or gods. However, Yi Zichen was the man she trusted the most. He told her personally he interacted with deities. Am I dreaming? She reached out and pinched Yi Zichen, who was beside her. What are you doing? Does it hurt? Xiao Yumei asked with her eyes wide open. How could it not hurt? It could be said that Xiao Yumei had used all of her strength in that move, and it was even at her waist. How could it not hurt? It's not a dream. Xiao Yumei muttered. Hey, if you want to see if it's a dream or not, can't you pinch yourself? What if it hurts when you pinch me? I'm scared of pain. Xiao Yumei rolled her eyes at him. Chapter 184. I'm rich. Yi Zichen was speechless. He wanted to get angry, but when he saw Xiao Yumei's rather childish and cute look, he couldn't bear to. Yi Zichen rubbed her hair, causing Xiao Yumei to glare. Your arm, it's fine. Yi Zichen raised his right hand with a chuckle. To be honest, the heavenly quartz healing medicine was truly useful. The bone fracture was healed in such a short amount of time. It's fine. Xiao Yumei was stunned for a moment. Then her eyes were instantly replaced by joy. She raised her hand and flipped it around. What? Her reaction was truly a bit too much, causing Yi Zichen to be a bit confused. Your arm has recovered. Is it because of that pill? Uh-huh. Yi Zichen nodded. Then can you get this pill in bulk? Xiao Yumei's gaze turned even more heated. Yi Zichen was stunned for a moment. Although he didn't understand, he still nodded. Yes. Something that cost 100 cultivation experience was indeed something that he could exchange for in bulk with the speed at which he obtained cultivation experience. Zoom! Xiao Yumei, who was sitting on the side, suddenly jumped into Yi Zichen's arms. She looked up with a heated gaze. Zichen, we're rich. Rich? Where did that thought come from? Xiao Yumei managed a few jewelry stores and was a rather reputable person in Bingshan. Why did she suddenly become so excited? What's more, Yi Zichen did not dare to look directly at the heated gaze in her eyes. Seeing Yi Zichen's confused look, Xiao Yumei raised her hand and poked his forehead. Why are you so dumb? How am I dumb? You're the one who suddenly said that we're rich. Why don't I feel like we're rich? So dumb. Xiao Yumei glared at him with a frown. Didn't you say that you came in contact with deities just now? Then you should have gotten that pill from the deities as well, right? Yi Zichen nodded. Although the Grade 1 healing pill was bought from the treasure shop, it was more or less the same as getting it from the deities. That's right. Zichen, why didn't you tell me earlier? Xiao Yumei sighed helplessly. You're guarding such a huge mountain of gold, but you don't know how to use it. Why didn't I make use of it? Yi Zichen was a bit unconvinced. He had worked so hard to earn cultivation experience, all for the sake of exchanging for the eyes of fire and gold, and then on his way to riches. What did you say you used? Xiao Yumei had a keen sense for business. She sensed countless possibilities from Yi Zichen's words. You mentioned the heavenly court just now. Although I'm not too sure what the heavenly court is like, what the immortals eat and use is definitely beneficial to us mortals, right? Yi Zichen nodded. That was true. The things of the heavenly court were indeed very beneficial to mortals. That's right. What happened? Yi Zichen also felt as if a door was slowly opening after hearing what they just said, but he was still a bit confused. Why don't you understand? Xiao Yumei frowned and sighed. How did I end up falling for a little idiot like you? I don't have much talent in business. It's not like you don't know that. Just say what you want to say. Why do you have to say that I'm young? Besides, am I young? Tisk, Xiao Yumei snorted. She could naturally hear the meaning behind Yi Zichen's flippant words. We can sell the things of the heavenly court to the outside world. Hearing that, Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. I've actually thought about selling the treasures of the heavenly court to the outside world. Then why didn't you do it? How? Yi Zichen shrugged. Could it be that I take cabbages from the heavenly court and run to the circle of rich people and tell them that these are cabbages from the heavenly court and that they can live longer if they eat them? Wouldn't I be sick? My little man, why are you so dumb and so cute? Xiao Yumei bent down and pinched Yi Zichen's cheeks. I'm telling the truth, all right? Actually, Yi Zichen had thought about all of this before. He had even thought about asking Xiao Hai to help him find some ways to sell it to the outside world, but he rejected all of them. All of this was too unbelievable. It was impossible. Older sister didn't tell you to sell cabbages. We just need to use one of the treasures to open up a channel. Use what? The healing pill you gave me just now. Xiao Yumei directly explained in case Yi Zichen asked more questions. Accidents will always happen, and it is unavoidable. For example, your arm just now, if you go to the hospital to get it treated, it would take at least a month or so, and you would still need to go through rehab and whatnot. However, with your pill, You can shorten the healing time by several times. You should understand now, right? Not really. This celestial pill of mine can be healed no matter what kind of injury it is. This is too miraculous. It will definitely attract attention. Xiao Yumei licked her lips seductively. Dilute. But we don't have a good reason. Are you sure that people will use this pill if we sell it? I feel like we can't compare to the hospital. Yi Zichen asked again. However, Xiao Yumei merely smiled. Idiot, can just anyone go to the hospital? Slap. Xiao Yumei's words instantly woke Yi Zichen up. You're saying that you want to promote it among those people who can't see the light of day. Not only those who can't see the light of day, those who can see the light of day still need our pills. Hearing that, Yi Zichen subconsciously looked around the VIP room, then intentionally lowered his voice. You still want to push it to the military? You still want to push the blame to the military? That won't do. What if the higher-ups investigate? What else can we do? We'll deal with it when it comes. What's more, if we can really provide such a miraculous pill, then the higher-ups would be more than happy. We're working for the country. Do you understand, you little idiot? Of course, even if we promote it to the higher-ups, we have to have a bit of fame first. What's more, I've waited for this day for far too long. An expectant and slightly resentful smile suddenly surfaced on Xiao Yumei's beautiful face. The capital. I will go back one day. Yumei, are you all right? Xiao Yumei had a look of excitement just now. But the moment Yi Zichen said that, her mood changed. I'm fine, my little man. Xiao Yumei rubbed Yi Zichen's face, then smiled joyfully. Being able to get to know you is truly my good fortune from my previous life. Why are you suddenly so emotional? Yi Zichen shrunk his neck uncontrollably. Then, he suddenly realized another problem. Yumei, I don't have any problems with pills. I can provide them in large quantities. But how are we supposed to push it? We don't even know those people. It's not feasible to get some delinquents to push it, right? Who said that we don't know each other? A light flashed across Xiao Yumei's eyes.